All righty. I think we're live. Good morning, YouTube. We have finished the news. We've gone over everything. I mean, if you were here last night, we were down 5%. That's why I've been comparing it to TLT. TLT is red now. And I was just telling the Twitch, I was just telling everybody else, man, I think it's either we get a bounce or TLT hits. It's one or the other. It's going to be very volatile. We got to figure out everything else going on, but we have a lot in store. No real developments over the weekend except for Trump and the team. They're not backing down. And people are kind of taking that a little bit better, but generally the reaction to Trump and nobody walking it back, that was negative. We got to already see a couple of updates from von der Leyen, and it seems like we are in the same situation as Friday. So we'll see where that leads. I like TLT. Watch the watch list. We talked about it last night. I mean, I think it's going to lag here for a little bit. We do have to be humble about it. You never know. There might be an instance where the bonds don't react. But like I'm saying, I think we either bounce or TLT hits. That's it. At some point, if the market keeps flushing at this rate, I do think it's going to, somebody's going to have to step in. It's getting too massive. And let me put it this way. We got 2 minutes. I want to hear your plays, but coming into this morning, the odds of a surprise rate cut are at 40% right now. So right now there are odds already of a rate cut coming before the meeting. Apple's dying right now. And then Trump, countries all over the world are talking to us. All right, well, we got 2 minutes. I should probably try to go to the bathroom here. I forgot about that. So I might need to end up doing that. But yeah, Chad, I hope you guys are feeling good. So, yeah, let me see if I can play it. Either way, I love you. God bless America. God bless Chattadonia. Trump, tough but fair parameters are being set. Spoke to Japan. That's coming out now. So, again, you got Apple dumping right here ahead of the cash open. We got about 1 minute. SPY's going to be around down 2 to down 3%. Meta's down 4. Bonds are down 1. And literally, Apple is down 6. So, that has already flipped. Trump, Japan sending negotiating team. All right, well, shit. Post your plays. We got 1 minute.
So
and
people
good
are
luck.
saying,
good
well,
luck.
there's going to be a halt in roll trade.
Let's see if I have time.
Halt in construction. So you sell companies that are related to infrastructure. And I think what
Japan says has treated us very poorly. All right, I haven't even gone yet. Hold on.
Maybe infrastructure comes back. But my problem is I think you have to wait. And I know wait is just not what you want to hear. No one really wants to hear somebody come on air and say, I think you ought to wait and see. But I think that's the right thing, the right strategy to advocate, David.
Just wait.
Well, I'm not going to tell people to sell Caterpillar too soon. Look, let's say Caterpillar goes to 240. Can I tell people, hey, 240, got to get back in? Are we using a 2007 paradigm, or are we using the other 20% declines? Because if it's the other 20% declines, then you can't sell. Okay. Might not have to buy.
Okay.
Can't sell. And that's what we have to decide. I
Game time.
2007 off the table.
It all has to change, especially with China, says Trump.
1929 and Smoot-Hawley. I want to take that off the table because employment is strong. We have
all right, 5
Fed.
seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Round 1. Fight. And then what's going on with Bank of America? Check out that one right off the bat. That one's already starting to move. I think that one's interesting. None of my option chains is loading. Puts. Trump said Japan has treated us very poorly on trade. Did that fill? No. All right, well, I'm trying to shop for a play, but some of my options aren't loading. Apple's already moving again. That was down 6. I'd be very careful, though. Again, we saw what the premiums were doing the other day when we wake up to some of these big gap downs, so be mindful of that. What the hell is that? S&P set to enter bear market, almost down 20% from high. And then some of those other, watch those Vietnam plays too. Anything related to that. China, big pop. Watch Apple. And again, Bank of America. Apple is already starting to move now. Down 5.8. LMT. We'll see. Yeah, VIX hit 60 at one point. Again, that's why I just watched TLT as well. None of those plays moved. I'm going to wait a little bit, and then I'm going to keep shopping for some more of the TLTs. One set of them already moved up, though, actually. Interesting. Oh, did I not set out the stream alert? I should have. My bad. It's only TLT, Gold, Apple, and Boeing. So, yeah, you should get it right now. ZBH, Intel. Yeah, Intel's on the low right now. Tesla shares down 6.5. Hot dog. Oh. Well, those are going to be scammy. All right, I got a couple of plays I need to wait, though. Like I'm saying, because now you're in between last night and where you were trading the other day. So now you're still hitting a low. Damn, next level is going to be 47.88. But like I'm saying, some of these premiums are still going to be elevated. But I would watch Apple. I'd watch Boeing. The names that are going to be tied directly to trade, I think those are going to be important as well. Oh, CRM. There's no bids on some of them, but watch out for that. Trump spoke with Ishiba to begin talking on tariffs. That's getting reiterated. A couple of things. EHang, a lot of China names moving up. Palantir, Amazon. Honestly, I think my platform is broken. My shit is not moving. Do you guys see this? Yeah, something's not working right. Like, do you see how choppy it is and how, like, yeah, it's not, everything's moving very, very oddly. Yeah. So, again, we had a taste of this the other day, but, yeah, something's up, bro. This is not already, look how slow this is. Everything's very, very choppy, which is good. I mean, you're only down 4. I say it's good because, remember, last night we were close to a circuit breaker, so this is just pulling you away from it, but, yeah, the trading of this is all kind of weird and choppy. ANET is down 7. Dang, you get that Carvana put. That one's up. And then Meta's starting to climb up a little bit. Again, I think Bank of America was moving earlier. That one stopped moving now, but that one was an odd one. Again, we're going to have earnings this week. I think some things in the market are broken. I could get behind that. Reeves, UK automakers particularly affected by tariffs. SPY. All right, so see if we start breaching any of the levels. Where's the VIX at? Honestly, you're getting more names on the SPY moving than the actual SPY. All of the exchanges are tweaking right now. So again, all my platforms are like extremely laggy, and yeah, just like things are moving, but it's like block. Like you could just see the low ticker moving blocks. I don't know how to describe it. Couple of options. I was able to make some plays. I was able to grab one play so far. So things are moving a little bit. Give it some time, and then we'll see. Don't film. All right. SPY still. MSTR. Oh, unrealized losses. Target calls up 200. Did they actually move? I already made them free, but if those are good, that'd be fire. Oh, I forgot about that Williams-Sonoma. I just have no bids. Yeah, targets are up 160 on the bid. So, yeah, I got some free ones there. And then you are moving up. There's bonds now. Bro, it's so choppy. Von der Leyen. Damn, welcome, baby. Hold on, I'm trying to do something right now. VRT. Why you no feel that, Habibi? ES breaking in the lows. I don't know. My shit's fucked up. Yeah, we are going lower. Bro, look. So my chart's not working. My E-Trade, you're at 4869. I just have to like keep refreshing this. So yeah, this chart is not accurate. You're going into the lows, bonds on the high. I'm trying to scam another TLT play. I found another one, but it didn't fill me on all of them. So like I said, I like TLT. I mean, that's it. I'm not saying that TLT is guaranteed to make you money, but like I said, it's either we get a bounce or TLT hits. At this point, I just think it's too extreme. Yeah, you're still lower, 48.70. You're 2 points off of the low. All right, dude, this sucks. I wish I could see. Again, you're going lower. This chart is not accurate. So, yeah, 48.59 now. You hit a low of 48.56. You are going lower. So, be mindful of that. Why don't you get TLT shares? I explained futures and shares yesterday on the watch list. There's a very extreme level we're at right now. So if you want dollar for dollar, that's all you. But I'm finding just extremely cheap plays with the risk reward for what we're dealing with right now. Trading View broke. Everything is very glitchy right now. So I'm sure you guys can already get that vibe. But yeah, it's definitely overwhelmed, I'd say, on a lot of systems this morning. So again, this E-Trade chart, don't believe it. You're into the low. You're at 48.69. You're 10 points, 15 points off the bottom. Nothing else is moving in currency land. Even oil is chill. Where the hell is gold? Yeah, gold is even down. Come on, Habibi. Yeah, see, so you're into the low. This little green shoot is just lying to you. There is weird premium, like I told you guys on Friday. They're like making shit up. And yeah, those targets are running. Target's doing good. I don't know why. This makes no sense. Bro, Target is down 4.5%, and our calls are up 200%. So again, this is the exact same thing that you saw last week. Remember, prices are going to be dumb. EU Trade Commissioner, a range of tariffs hitting 380 billion euros. Some 70% of our total exports are facing tariffs. And then Chinese buyers snap up copper as it plunges below 8,500. Okay, I think you're going lower. Yeah, 48.59, 5 points off the lows again. Dude, yeah, hood is messed up. Brokerages are weird. You can't even trust this SPY. I got to keep up TD Ameritrade so you guys can see. 48.58, 4 points off the low. Again, I mean, it's kind of crazy. All of our levels are written down here. So 47.89 is the next one I have. So that's still like 100 points away. I think you might go lower. I can't believe it. How far do I have to pull this damn chart out? That's crazy. So yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, brother. We're not even. That's it. You've given up the whole year? Damn. Damn. So after today, yeah, you've given up all of 2024 now. So that's it. Next level on this SPY, 482, 5 points. It makes sense, yeah. So you're right back to all those. So 47, there's like another 100 points down. Kind of crazy. All right, 4854, you're going down. I got rid of my Nike calls. Remember the Vietnam news? So I don't know, but Nike came back down. That could be another one, though. All right, you're still going lower, though. I haven't even looked at the VIX. Damn, VIX is at 55, 53. Ah! So, yeah, VIX is going up. Let me see what's available. But like I told you guys last week, we were buying VIX for 20 cents. Yeah, you can't. Poof! You guys spent $600. You want that shit. Actually. Yeah. UK Starmer, Trump tariffs are a huge challenge for our future. TLT is popping up a little bit. SPY's dumping, 48.42. Don't let the glitchy platform fool you. You're literally going lower now. You're kind of dumping aggressively. You've opened up at 49.62. You're at 48.40. I mean, that's 100 points down. So this is already picked up. NASDAQ is down by 5%. SPY is down by 4.5. We're back to the morning. Bonds are lagging heavy because last night when we were down by this amount on the SPY, the bonds were up 0.5%. So watch out for that. I think, well, again, there was a lot of circuit breakers last night. That's kind of the weird part. Holy VIX in it. 48.35. That's the low. You already bounced up a little bit, but that's already insane. No way. Bro, they already scammed SPY puts? Bro, everything is broken right now. Even the volume on daily SPY puts is actually extremely low. All right, there you go. Some of them. But yeah, and then the prices have already been wrecked. What? Yeah, bro. This is weird. Oh, no, it's doing it again, bro. Bro, it's doing it again. Yeah. Bid and ask is broken. No. Watch out. Yeah, that's why it's so cheap. I was about to get 100 of them. Yeah, bids are higher than the ask again on the SPY. No, remember what happened with MSTR last week? And then the bids were coming in higher? Yeah, same thing on SPY dailies. So that's what I was telling you, even the volume isn't showing up. This is on E-Trade and Thinkorswim. So they're pretty much bugging out right now. Very odd. Robinhood too. Well, that sucks. So yeah, I mean, I don't think we're gonna even be able to play SPY today. That's it. VIX is running up, but yeah, that's it. It's only TLT, bro. I'm telling you, all of this is stupid too. Like I'm saying, it's just very simple. It's just like, what do you mean we're flushing into? You gave up 1 year of gains, 2 years of gains in 3 days. That's it. It's either we fucking crash out and bonds get a bid or not. That's it. I'm still gonna be sticking with that. That's why I'm like, this is kind of it's kind of nutty. So yeah, Amazon's down too. That's starting to climb up a little bit. Well, it's fine. TLT doesn't have to move. That just means we're gonna bounce. But at the end of the day, like this, you're just getting to that point where I think you've hit that extreme now. But yeah, things are still moving actively right now. I'm not saying it's panic or intentional. The point is just, how many times have you heard the bond market is the right one, right? The bond market leads. So just think whatever you want to think, and why you could come up with whatever why, but fact of the matter is, and this is a fact right now, bonds are not indicating fear. That's all I'm saying, is that although I see one of the craziest market moves I've ever witnessed, I don't see the fear in the bonds. So that means the bonds are either telling you they see something else, or they disagree with it. Intel is at 1880? No way. Whoa. Habibi, that seemed like good deal, no? Bro, that sucks. We can't play those spy plays. Okay, well, that just fucked up TLT. I don't even know if any of these premiums are correct. Ah! So, yeah, we'll see. Okay, yeah, that filled. Again, there's a couple names that are literally down 5%, and the call options are up. So be mindful of that. That's what you got to watch out for. What's the play I just made? Nvidia's going, Amazon. Okay, again, you just literally flushed another 100 points into the low. You've already bounced up 60 points from that. No exaggeration. You just hit 48.35 and you're at 4,900 right now. This is insanity. I don't know if you guys realize how much you're actually moving right now. So the market's getting used to it too. That means you're moving almost 100 points in 3 minutes, and the option chains are all just used to it. So that's why it's going to be difficult. So be very careful. I already made a play. They're moving up. But, yeah, that's nuts. Carvana's on the high now. A couple of other names. I remember those Carvana puts, that old one. Those are up. So you could do something. I might sell them. Why not? Why are we moving up? Well, we just moved down, and you still have a long way to go, and that's it. It's either we bounce or we die today. But it's Black Monday or bounce, baby. That's the title. That's the title, and that's it. We didn't come this far for no reason. So, yeah, I think one or the other. And you're going to hear more from negotiation. Just get ready for that, too. Hungary opposes EU counter tariffs against U.S. Okay, not bad. All right. Dude, bro, it's crazy. I'm even the long term, bro. The long term candle down, I've never seen that. It's so unnatural. But that's what I'm saying. What we've gone through in the last 3 days, bro, every account looks like a stick down. I have one account that's a stick up, but at the end of the day, like any long term holdings, just to get a feel for what just went on. Like, dude, the last 72 hours of market trading has been virtually straight down. I'm telling you, I haven't even seen a move like that in a long time. UVXY is dying, so let's see if this holds up. You'll get a different reaction. Again, if the VIX actually starts to go down, we might be looking at 2%. We'll see. So again, here's the logic too. We talked about this a little bit on last night's watch list, but anytime the VIX has closed above 45, usually the next day is green. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Of the 12 times the VIX has closed above 45, only 3 times was it red the next day. Yeah, everybody on X is preaching this. I got tagged. 3 Chads tagged me on this. So you are right. People are kind of clinging to this, and they really, really hope it does happen. But I was telling you guys just right before, anything above 35 now is a buyable dip on the VIX. And then J&J on the low, that's value again. High ticker, you just hit the low and bounced up, no exaggeration, 70 points. So now we're right below 5,000 again. Actually, no, 4,900. So still a long way. NASDAQ down 3. Just 5 minutes ago is down 5. So you have like a 2% swing. Options are kind of glitched out, so be careful. And be mindful of what premiums you're paying. And yeah, that's it. Your broker's rejecting all your options? No. Oh, they took my options. Sorry, that's just in my mind how I'm. Okay, TLT is down, but they're jacking up the premiums on the long end. So I still think we're going to get more of that story, but at least TLT down. I mean, that makes sense with the market kind of rallying, but we'll find out. HIM's big pop. NASDAQ pairs losses. Kind of is a big pop in the room with us, or but yeah, 30 cents is not too bad, but it's not like a 5%er. GME in the green. Tesla's even coming back up. They're down 6. Yeah, NVIDIA down 3. They're waking up. Oklo is in the green, actually. And then MO, you guys were saying that was moving up. Bro, everything. So yeah, but watch, I'll keep up HIMs. That's in the bottom right. See where that leads. Again, Intel's starting to go. We have killer target plays. So watch them. Watch Nike, ONON, Palantir as well. That's starting to move. Palantir down 4, but into the green. Futu, China. Amazon's been strong all day as well. And then bonds getting murdered. Gold still hasn't moved. And SPYs making its way downtown, buying dips, and it's holding. They hate you. And I will buy 1,000 puts so they can just expire. Worthless. Sorry. RH could pop. That one could be. Remember, they were down 40% last week. I wanted to play on. Remember, I think it was moving on Friday too. Yeah. Did that Phil? No, they hate me. If I can just long term. I think this one's overpriced. So you got to watch out for that. Okay, SPY's still going. Damn. And then bond's still down, but now, I mean, just wait till you go green. You still got 2.5%, but you just did that in 10 minutes. Do I like this? I kind of do and I kind of don't. I hate to be that guy because when everybody wants an answer, people don't like that guy, but I still think there's a lot of stuff we don't know about yet. And that's why I can't make up my mind on what's fully good and what's fully bad. But like I said the other day, just you should know. All you have to do is be aware of what you're dealing with. That's why I said the other day it was a bomb. And you had to know that, react to it, go to protect yourself, and you'll be good. I don't think that you're trapped, but I don't think it's going to be easy. And yeah, I think there's some good, some bad, but we don't know what's fully going to stay that way. Okay, SPY ripping. All right, man. I did hear rumors about people blowing up. Not anything high profile, but yeah, people were talking about record margin calls amongst other things. So I think that logic still remains. But even then, at this point, I think it's just going to boil down to the Fed or policy pivot, like we talked about. Either Fed pivots, Powell pivots, Trump, somebody. But until then, we will see. All right, Restoration, Tesla, EU Savokich. We're ready to discuss 0 for 0 tariffs, not only for cars, but other industrial products. That sounds really good. Am I tripping? So you got one Fed person, or excuse me, one EU person saying they're willing to negotiate. EU Starmer, we will not set aside fiscal rules. Interesting. They widen the spreads. Some of these bids are still higher. I mean, bro, it's running up. I'm sending out on the stream alerts a contract to watch. There's one call I think might be the sweet spot. So watch that one. Otherwise, this is a good move for now. And again, people are going to be talking about other factors. Again, the whole rally thing, and then we're going to wait for an update. But there's a couple of prices you watch out for. See where that leads us from there. And then, yeah, then we wait for the next headline. But I like that Sefcovic. I don't know who that is, but that sounded like a positive EU headline, not to mention you just bottomed out 100 points lower. Dude, you're 130 points higher. I can't make this up. This is crazy. I actually cannot even fathom this. You are literally up 140 points from the low about 15 minutes ago. You're up 130 points from that level. Tesla, Meta, they're all moving now. Again, a couple of other names are running up there too. Yeah, Restoration, I like that one. The chain is really weird. That's the only problem, but it is moving. Oh, whoa, shit. That might just be the ask. I could only imagine. Were we singing that on Friday? Because that's stuck in my head now. All right, man. You're going up there. Everything. Google, Robinhood, Restoration, Palantir. Almost every single industry is catching a bid right now. It's only been about 30 minutes. So let me get you a checkup. We just moved 130 points off the low. Very, very aggressive to the upside. Here is your market checkup. Damn, son. Amazon shares turned positive, erasing 5% loss. Dow Jones, 3 names in the green, 27 in the red. 3M, Amazon, and NVIDIA, only names green on the Dow. UK Starmer, sticking to commitment to not increase income tax, VAT, and national insurance. Okay, that's not bad. EU Sefcovic, EU Commission position is to consider all options on table. And then NASDAQ, you have 27 names in the green, 73 in the red. SPY, 61 green, 442 red. So yeah, bro, you're just so red right now. None of this is going to take anything green. That's the craziest part right now. So remember, we're down 5% at one point. You have to factor that into to how this is moving right now. Held the RH, baby. Let's go. I had shitty ones, but I think I tried to snake one. But I just grabbed one. But I hope it works. Okay, SPY and gold taking a red. NVIDIA down 8 to green. Yeah, almost. Even Amazon. Amazon was down 5. And now that hit green just a second ago. So now you're only down 1.7. So the NASDAQ says 1.9. Yesterday, futures open was the closest we have came to a circuit breaker in a very long time. And then now, about 30 minutes into the day, you're down 2%. Ta-da! Oh, I'm a business, baby. Good morning. Saint Martin, EU has a wide toolbox to retaliate to tariffs. Oh, no. I mean, some people are buying the dip. At this point, we talked about it a lot. I think you either have a price for certain assets that you want. Otherwise, you wait till there's like a hard policy pivot. And then, then you'll be good to go. All right. And then I need to go to the bathroom. So if you could forgive me.
Tesla, all
I will BRB. Follow me on Instagram at the Trader Fraternity. Real Cold News on Twitter. I'll see you in a little bit.
Sevens in the red and trading in bear market territory. Banks are another story too. Trading at their lowest level since September, ahead of earnings, of course, from J.P. Morgan, Wells, and Morgan Stanley later this week.
So, guys, I spent the weekend on the phone. I mean, it was one of those weekends. I'm sure you did, too. It reminded me of the regional bank crisis, the COVID days, financial crisis. It's one of those working weekends talking to investors, talking to CEOs, talking to everybody that we can talk to find out what they're thinking and how they're feeling. And I have to say, it's not good. The common refrain that I've heard is that this is a huge, unforced error. And even if, like so many people, agreed with President Trump's original premise that we need to get some fairer trade terms, right? We need to pay attention to some of those manufacturing jobs that have been lost over the years as we've ceded share to China. We need to get rid of some of those non-tariff barriers. Even if you agreed with all of that, the execution of this policy, the fact that these so-called reciprocal tariff rates were based on nonsensical economics, and the fact that they were much higher even in their own formula than what was correct, I think has led to two things. One, a pricing in increasingly of recession in the United States and in foreign countries, and some serious credibility and confidence issues in U.S. assets. And that, I don't know about you, David, that is what I'm hearing.
I shared this at the top of the 9, almost different words, but the same sentiment, Sarah. Disbelief on the part of many of the CEOs I spoke to, and this hope in part that this is a negotiating tactic, but that seems to be, with every passing day and every utterance from members in the administration, whether it be the Commerce Secretary or the Treasury Secretary or Mr. Navarro, who joined Squawk Box earlier, that seems to be going away as a real possibility. And you know, when you talk about the lack of intellectual rigor in terms of applying these tariffs and the fact that really they were based on nothing having to do with anything reciprocal, you get to a question of, all right, is it revenue raising? Because we don't seem to really want.
Well, we talked about the tinfoil last night. I don't know if you want to hear it.
To try to then lower barriers around the world to the point you were talking about. So
that's the tinfoil. I don't know if you guys realize that, and this is what I'm saying, the irony about this week. Hold on. UK Starmer, all options are on the table in retaliation to the Scunthorpe plant when asked about possible nationalization of British steel. That's not as important. But we talked about it. I mean, again, people are saying uncertainty, and everybody is bringing up this level of uncertainty with trade, and it's like kind of a threat. But the tinfoil is that all these companies are going to halt their shipments. So a couple people have already done it, but the tinfoil is that you're going to watch global trade grind to a halt if all of these companies and CEOs decide to not trade because of everything going on. So we'll see. We will see. Yeah, man, everything's moving up there. It's not too aggressive, so something's starting to move. Oh, wait, no way. Oh, shit. Today's the 7th. These expire. Those TLT puts. I can only imagine. So make the TLT puts free. That's what I'm going to do. I kind of want to take all the profit, but we'll make them free at 100%. And then now you ride them out. I think TLT is going to be the main focus for the next week or so. Stream alert's not working. Email, as always. EU Stefovic. I can't say this guy's name. Stefakovic. VAT is an important source of income for EU member states, and we will not change our VAT system. I don't think that's good. So he was just saying he wanted to negotiate, but again, that VAT thing, premiums are already going to get washed a little bit on that. They just did. I think we need negotiation headlines like I was talking about last night. At this point, market's going to move around a little bit, but in reality, you need updates now. It's wherever the negotiations go, positive, negative. Are we, watching a off-ramp, a on-ramp, or are you watching it escalate right before your eyes? And then bonds still at the bottom there too. Always watch for this opportunity now. See if the bonds and SPY could get into a relationship. Okay, U.S. Steel, like I said, you had that. You had some of those UK headlines. Amazon's in the green. High ticker is still running, bro. Again, there's restoration, but you are doing great. Again, there's a couple of names that are green. Majority of names are red because of the gap down, but last 30 minutes you had that run. Couple of EU comments. Most of them sounded good. You just had one that didn't sound good, and we chilled, but I think, too, you're just kind of moving. You're going to have a 2.5% range today, meaning you can move that much, and I don't even think it'll affect things. We're off 2% from the low. Oh, Ruby, welcome. CDN, welcome. Ovalius, welcome. Hood going stupid. Is it green? Oh, almost. 2.7. Where's the other one? Coin and then MSTR. Dollar General every one of these days. Oh, they're kind of down. SPY's still moving, though. Amazon, I think Amazon, and then there's one more in tech that was doing really good. But hold on, though. Low ticker has a couple of names moving. Stream Alerts is the first link in the description. BJDX up 175. Samolta, nice. I wanted Samolta too. That's a good name. SMCI running. SMCI is killing it. So it's back to 31. Remember that? Was it at 29 when we traded it? Or was that 19? And then bonds getting murked. Ooh. I still have them, but yeah, I made those free, but that's like really running. Whoa, okay, you're really running. Boeing settles lawsuit with families of 737. Hold on, something had to just happen. There might be a EU headline. You guys have, you don't have the wire up. Yeah, something just snapped right there. That's big. This is everything. Look, something. Bro, you have to have news. Bro, Broadcom, that's what I'm saying. All those plays have gone green now out of nowhere. What the fuck is this? So, yeah, eyes on watch. Yen down. Mexico, oil's even going up there. Something happened. There has to be some set of good news lurking right now. I do not see it. I would hate to call it plunge protection, but this is too big. Bro, everything just went crazy. Again, you got over 100% on, we had some of those other tech plays too. Shit. All right, we'll make some free. All right, I made Broadcom free. I had a lot of those. Nice. I don't know what the news is, but be on watch. WTI sidesteps. No, that's not it. Again, watch that one play that I told you to keep eyes for. Those have now gone. I don't know the percentage. Make the chip play. Oh, wow. Those went up 200%. Shit, 30 cents to $1 now. Yeah, those already hit. Fuck. 200%. Okay, make those free money. Bro, what is this? I don't see any headline yet. Bro, this is all straight momentum, but it's moving like a motherfucking trade deal just happened. So, yeah, bro, look at this. All the currencies are going nuts. Any of those call plays. Oh, wow. Whoa, bro, those TLT puts are killing it. TLT puts are 1,300%. Whoa. All right, sell those now. I'm selling a majority of them. That's crazy. Bro. What? Bro, that's insane. That's $80 into 1,200. Whoa. All right, sell the... I have a little bit more, but those TLT puts like fucking hit. Bro, what is this? So, yeah, we still don't know. I see Trump ordering CFIUS review of U.S. steel purchase. That's it. I don't have anything else. Other SPY plays are up 1,500% now. That one that I called, that's insane. So, yeah, those are 30 cents. Oh, no. That was the other one. The TLT is 1,500%. The SPYs are $3 to $2.70. But, yeah, that's starting to run. Businesses and lawyers plan legal challenge to Trump tariffs. That's all I see. Hassett, Trump considering a 90-day pause in tariffs for all countries. So, there again, that could be it, but I don't know. That could either be fake as fuck or not, because we heard Hassett in the morning, and that's what your boy wanted. What was his name? Bill Ackman. But either way, you already have the place. Again, 500% now, SPY calls, 1,000% on TLT puts. Oh, I forgot, even those Intels. And then you have the everything, bro. We have a lot of plays just ran off of that. I don't even know where this SPY's at. My shit's not loading. That's insane. VIX halted. Dude, my SPY, I don't even know where we're at. So, again, you're at 51551. You're literally up 200, 300 points. That's crazy. For all countries. Again, right now they're saying Hassett rumor of 90-day pause. Do you understand? Just keep that in mind. This is a rumor of a 90-day pause at this point. So I wouldn't go anything beyond that, but it's a rumor. If it comes true, 90-day pause, then it'll be fire. But other than that, yeah, we'll see. Damn, I should have sold the rest of those TLTs. I kept 10 of them, but yeah, that hit. Jeez, bro. Everything, bro. We have so many different plays. You're about to hit 5,200. Wow. All right, well, take something off the table. Shit. I don't know. It's up to you. Well, we just bought those. Might as well sell them. Oh, wow. Okay, those RHs I just bought, those went up 100%. I'm out. Okay, NASDAQ is up 2.1. Bro, you've moved 7% from the bottom. This is absolutely unreal. So, yeah, finalize your plays. Oh, shit, we got old SPY calls coming up. Whoa. Yeah, I got old SPY calls from the other day. Oh, I forgot about those. Yeah, bro. Those other spies that we have went green. Whoa, okay. Oh, I got a lot to do, bro. Okay, made another set free. Those are the ones on Friday. Bro, TOT, that's it. I mean, we had that put hit 1,500%. I can't believe it. And then I have 1,000% now on the SPY daily. That was the one I told you guys, the sweet spot. That one ended up hitting, and then I got another set going crazy. I'm going to sell half of them out at 1,000%, and then I have a couple more dailies. It's actually not loading now. Now I can't sell. Okay, I sold 3 more of those. Okay, I have an old SPY set. These went dead to up 50. I'm just going to sell all of them. Because, again, we should have already monetized the puts. So that's it. Any old SPY calls coming back to life, ditch them. Yeah, bro, I have so many SPY plays just coming back. I'm ditching all of them. So that means we got to make money on every single put. And all of those straddles, all of the calls, I'm dumping all of them. I'm holding what I picked up today. That's it. I just sold out 2 sets, 80%. I had a fuck ton. That was all my straddles coming back. So, yeah, do something with it. Then you have 400% on those targets. Bro, I don't even know where this SPY's at. I'm not even looking. I'm just taking my gains. So, yeah, 51.92. Again, I sold most of them for free. Then I'm making the intel from this morning free. I just took a shit ton. Yeah, U.S. Steel jumps 13 after CFIUS review. This is all just a rumor. Look at this. This is all just a rumor on a 90-day extension. Do you guys not understand what just happened and what is going to keep happening? Damn, those Broadcoms are up 300%. I'm dumping everything. I'm just going to take my money on. All those calls have now came back. Beautiful. I'm not calling BS. I'm just saying it's a rumor. All that's going to happen next part of this, you're going to have people talking about the next part of this is just going to be whether or not this comes true. Does that make sense? So what's going to happen is that later in the day, Trump is either going to say, that's false. What do you mean 90 day? No rumor. No exemption. Or they're going to say, yeah, it's true. And then we run off of it. Does that make sense? I hope you guys are following. That's it, bro. I just took 1,000% on SPY dailies. So I got some more for free, but that was great. That was a killer move. Nice, baby. We did it. Yeah, and then those targets are hitting. You got them for free, but I think I might have to sell them, bro. Yeah, I sold the targets 300%. So again, if you just got gifted, make them free. Oh, Bank of America? I forgot about that. Yes, you can, actually. I'm sell both sides because the Bank of America has a gain, but I don't even think the puts are worth it anymore because then you'll make more by going both ways. So that's it. There's still 100% gap. I'm out of that. Yeah, E-Trade's really shitty right now. That was insanity, bro. And then again, I just had so many old straddles come back. That one sweet spot play that I stream alerted, that contract went 1,000%. I told you $30 was the price, and then that one I closed out some of them at $300, like no exaggeration. I think. Yeah. These are all the contracts I just closed, but where is, 355. I bought those not too long ago for 30 cents. That was crazy. I'm mad. I kept some of the bond plays. Those TLTs are still up 200%, but yeah, there was a lot on that. And then we got free SPY bounce. Those went negative now. Bro, that one SPY bounce play from Friday, that shit doubled up, and then I sold them, but now those plays are negative. I don't know how. Yeah, bro. Everything just chilled, right? Dude, that was what? Are you kidding me? Bro, that was 200 points from there. Oh, dude. That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't even react. All I reacted to was my account. I just took my money. I said, fuck that. They just gave me all of those plays back for free. Bro, I walked away. I just took a lot of fucking money, bro. I don't know what just happened, but yeah, I'll take it. Because again, remember, I monetized every put UVXY. My problem was selling early, but then I had a lot of straddles, right? So all of my straddles just went green, and then I just sold them. That's it. I said, what do you mean you're going to give me 70%? So yeah, there was a lot of contracts there, and then that TLT put, that went 1,500%. Every 2 cents went to 40. So yeah, whatever the fuck just happened, that was fun. No way. I think you have rumors gonna have a lot too. That's fat. Look at it. No way. My plays are still up 200% on that SPY daily, but yeah, that just brought some things down there. A lot. That's crazy, bro. I wish my chart would actually work, E-Trade. Okay, well, that's good. I hope you guys took some money out of all of that. That's what I was yelling the whole time, and I did. So that was good. That was good. Bro, that was nuts. I got rid of that RH. That was another hit. I made Intel's free. I got rid of Bank of America. Closed any loose legs off the straddles. I still got some TLT puts. And then, yeah. Then I have a SPY daily that's free after 1,000%. Woo! Thank you for the plays, baby. That was great. That was great. Yeah, man. And straddles have been fire. I think that was the cheat code with all of this. Because every straddle, there was dollars to get no matter what. And then you didn't have to pick a direction. And then that right there just gave us a lot of fucking money back, bro. That was crazy. You hit those TLT puts Friday? Yeah, that was 1,500%. That was crazy. I'm telling you, 2 cents into like 40. So we'll see. Again, I think next play now, part of today. I can't, dude, you just sold off 200 points from that high. But next level of this is now going to be, the next level of this is just going to be the, next update on this rumor, whether or not this is true. So again, people were just all of a sudden saying we're going to get this 90-day pause, but I think you have to wait till Levitt or Trump confirm. Why is Palantir halted? That's weird. The straddles and strangles will work. Just make sure, like I told you guys, the premiums. Just don't, the days where both sides are green, you'll get whacked. You got to kind of make sure one of them is down versus the other. And if you could do that, I think you'll have a good time. But there is still ways where straddles and strangles can backfire. Trump is not going to pause. Well, that's why, again, that's where I think you'll get another reaction if Trump comes out and says that.
That's certainly also on news. I mean,
Certainly.
obviously, the
Jamie
market wants
Stegall.
that sort of relief.
Oh!
And
Another
I
crazy
certainly
day,
most
bro. I
hope
can't
that-
believe what the
that,
fuck
Trump,
that just. That was
takes
nuts.
it. But
That was nuts.
again, I'm very confident in the long-term growth of the U.S. because this is a human era, not a structural area about capitalism, free markets, or the stock market. It's a policy mistake. And that can be cured and will be cured in time.
Jeremy, thank you. Jeremy Siegel, obviously
Bro.
Professor Siegel, with us for some very interesting moves in the market. If you're just joining us, of course, we started the session right near the lows, although off where the futures had indicated if you were up at 4 a.m. this
Have
morning.
they talked about it?
That
No one at
said,
the White
we
House is
came
aware of
back
90-day
roaring
pause.
back on what
That's what
we've been
CNBC
unable to
saying. Yeah, I was going to
confirm,
say, is there anyone talking about this?
Were at least headlines perhaps indicating
So watch
the
out.
idea of a 90-day pause.
Yeah,
and
here.
the tariffs might be considered by the White House. And again, Eamon Javers, you just heard from him.
that was
He's
just a
there,
test.
Unable to confirm
You could move
it, but
200
we will
points
stand
on
by
that
if
type
there
of
is
shit.
more communication or any communication around that. And we're still positive on the NASDAQ. So a significant rally having taken place, although, again, we're well off the highs of the session, but far, far off the lows. As for technology, it's the worst performing sector year to date. It is down over 20%. All the Mag 7 names are trading in bear market territory. That would mean more than 20% off recent highs. Our next guest is warning this tariff policy would set the U.S. tech sector back a decade if it stays in place. He's also slashing his price targets on Apple and Tesla due to, of course, those concerns around tariffs. Maintains his outperform rating.
I
You know
can't
him.
see anything,
He's Wedbush's Dan Ives right here at Post 9. Dan, man, you had a busy weekend. I, was looking at some of your stuff over the weekend because we
Oh, is
were
this
all
Dan
kind of
Ives?
working.
All right, I'm
Musk
making
created
a play
brand
to
crisis
balance
and
out my
Trump tariffs
call.
equals a perfect storm for Tesla.
Because,
Apple
again, I have
tariff
3 of those
uncertainty turns
dailies
supply
that got
chain
free
upside
now.
down.
They're actually for
And really
tomorrow,
the
but
one
I'm
I
going to
think that
balance
got
it with a
perhaps
put.
the most attention, economic Armageddon. You're not feeling too good about anything, are you?
Yeah, look, I mean, and we've talked for decades. I mean, I'm one to always look through near-term issues, structural, dot-com bubble, financial crisis, COVID date. The difference here is
man.
that for
Is
US
everybody's
tech,
E-Trade still looking
it
like
would
this, or is this
be
just
the
mine?
Ultimate, what I view as an
That's what
Armageddon
sucks.
relative to the supply chain, and really take the core thesis that we believe U.S. tech is ahead of China, and that would really throw that out the window. And that's why.
So, yeah, I
we've
grabbed a
written about it
put,
so much, 'cause
and
there's
that's
someone
just
that
to balance
spends
out
so
the
much
free
time
3
in-
dailies.
So much time, in fact.
And then that's it.
In
And then we'll
China,
see.
Seeing how
I think
these
90
things
day
are
was
actually
fake.
produced.
Yeah.
The reality of
I
bringing
mean,
it-
again, I don't know if you guys were watching that. It started moving, and I was like, okay, dollar, currencies, bonds. But I just started reacting, but, we didn't get the rumor till a little later, but then it just kept dumping. So people are saying, again, CNBC said no one at the White House has heard that, and I think that may be accurate. But either at this point, you should have already kind of traded that move. That's it. That was just a gift. And then now I use those calls to grab a free put, or I use free SPY calls to justify buying a put. So now I'm both ways. But now let's see what the bonds do. That's the real answer. Like I'm telling you, it's either all bullshit or it's the bonds. And then what you just went through goes to show you, though, how fast we will rally once there is actually good news. That was not Reuters. I don't know where it came from. All I knew is that the market was moving. I didn't even care about the headline. I don't know if that's what I was saying. If you guys just watched that, I just went straight to the plays because they were moving, but there wasn't nothing on the wire. There wasn't any comments. So people said that. And like I said, I think today the dynamic might revolve around that, but they're already shooting it down. So we'll see where we go from here. But pretty wild, and I think you now see the potential. Bank of Canada business outlook shows overall sentiment has deteriorated with trade war. It came from a random source on X and spread. That's ridiculous, but that was massive. That's what I'm saying. That was just so massive. We were looking at dollar, currencies, bonds, and nothing moved, or nothing was confirming it, but they were all moving. But then that's it. Just go to the options. Just take your money, bro. I don't know what the hell just happened, but I used that to my advantage. I used that one to my advantage. So I'm glad that they just paid me for no damn reason. So we'll take it. I even took any of the plays I thought I'd hold. They all just went crazy, so I just took them off the table. There was a couple I wish moved, but, can't complain. There really is a Fed meeting, but make no mistake, it's not that important. So there is like a closed door meeting, but that was already scheduled. So every time this happens and there's a closed door meeting, everyone freaks out, but that's not the one. The crazy part is that right now the odds of a surprise rate cut, the odds of an emergency rate cut are now at 40%. The Fed futures are pricing in a rate cut ahead of the meeting, which is wild. So, yeah, we'll see. All right, back to VWAP. Again, the rumor caused all of this move, and now some people already shot down the rumor, but now you're just holding a little bit above 5033. That's about 30 points below the close of Friday. I'm going to make breakfast, calm your heart rate. That's a good idea. That was chill. Kugler talking somewhere. The Fed. I mean, if it goes back up, it'll be even more insane. So just see. I think you're still going to have more. Watch chips, too. Some of those are starting to go. To the closed door. There wasn't an emergency cut in 2019. There was in 2020, but I could almost guarantee that closed door meeting is not important. It's not indicating no rate cut or anything. I explain this every time it happens. Yeah, Fed Kugler. SPY, Target. Again, I got out of all of those plays. I still have a TSM. That's the only one. Bro, that was crazy, but do you guys see it? I really hope that was just a crash course on something. That's how the market's going to look once you get a trade deal. Remember, I was saying this last night. I'm like, right now, this is all bad. And, like, you have to take it seriously. You better be aware and protect yourself. But, like I'm saying, is that in the stroke of a pen, all of this could go away. If it doesn't go away, this is the most serious trading it, like, global trade environment you have had in over 100 years. But then if they negotiate, bro, and they come to a deal, you see how quickly. That's what I was telling you. Don't forget, when there was a real trade deal back in the day, that was so good for the market. So just keep in mind, you just went up 250 points. You just saw that. Calls went up 1,000%. Puts on bonds went up 1,000%, all within seconds. So keep that in mind. That's why the people who keep buying the dip and waiting, and they're like negotiation, that's what they're waiting on, because you see how quickly that could do that. White House says 90-day pause in tariff is fake news. CNBC. So they're reiterating that now. I think the White House reached out. They're saying that it's fake. Hassett comment is fake news. So, again, it caused 200 points. Watch bonds, though. That might make them even cheaper, low-key. All right, I would sell the rest of those TLT puts. That's it. Because bonds might come down again, but those plays expired today. I wish we got the other 1,000%, but there's still some money on that. insane. I'll just wait. I want more TLTs, but I already have enough. But yeah, I got out of the puts there. We'll hold our calls. We even got a put too, damn it. So yeah, we're good. That was fun, bro. That was fun. I have puts and calls both up right now. So yeah, but again, White House is confirming that that rumor is fake. That one was weird because that moved everything. That moved the dollar, bonds. That's why I was like, bro, what is it? And it was everything. That was a massive ass move. But now, they were saying it was just some little ass rumor of 90-day pause. And then the market went way, way too hard off of that. But yeah, it was like patently false. And then now we're like, you're kind of back to where it started. I felt like it was a little bit more aggressive. But yeah, I can't believe that just happened. I don't know where the rumor came from. I think it was just on Twitter. I didn't even go to look at it. Like, I was just telling you guys, I kept calling out plays. I just said things are moving, something's happening, but at some point, the movement was too big. I just got to reaction instead of trying to figure it out. But then by the time I was done reacting, they were like, it's fake. Oh, VIX plays, yeah. If you could have bought them on the dip. Okay, SPY calls are starting to come down now, and then the SPY puts are starting to climb. So again, you are starting to fade it a little. You're back to below 5,000, 49.69. That's crazy, bro. In the last straight up 45 minutes, you've went 260 points up, and now you are down 260, 300 points. SPY put you called is up 140. I know, I'm writing those out. They're both up. So both of them are going to be up now. So now I have a call that's green and a put that's green. Just because all that move was good. We reacted perfectly. We had plays prior. We got rid of trash plays that went green. And then we took the free plays to buy a put so that now we could hold a free call and we have a put. So either way, as long as it swings 100 or 200 points, we're going to get paid. I got the call, I got the put. I can make the money both ways. All right, well, you're going lower. Bonds haven't fully reacted yet. 49.60 now. That's it. Because there was two parts of this. There was like the first little run up, and then it got crazy. Because I bought my calls from like here. That's why they went really nuts. But just watch out now. But you're fading it. That rumor is fake. Yeah, that probably hooked up a lot of the straddles. Every play came back, though. That's it. So those intels came back. I'm very, very glad we sold them. Most of them. Fake news. All fake. Trump rapid response X handle says, has it not say this? Responds to tariff pause report. So some Trump account is responding to the rumor already. Hassett is a trade advisor to Donald Trump. Oh, what time is it? Yeah, dude, it's only 7:40. What? Dude, we've only been here for an hour and 10 minutes. Are you kidding me? That's crazy. So, yeah, bro, you have a lot of the day left. Oh, yeah. Damn. Yeah, bro, it's really early. No, like, it's extremely early. What are you guys saying right now? Bro, it's 7:30, 7:40. So you're still like an hour and a half from Euro close. And then, yeah, so we've already have 5% down. You got up to green at one point. And then now we have a fake-ass rumor, which has already been shot down. But that means all day we're waiting now on negotiations, headlines, and then you're going to just be hearing back and forth on this rumor, essentially. The SPY calls came back, but now they all died. That's it. I had that play. Remember that play I made on Monday? On Friday, I told you guys I was going for one of those Monday bounce plays, right? That play was dead, and then that play went up 50%, and then I got out. I had so many plays come back from the grave. I was stupid. So, yeah, you had to take it in that moment. If you thought it was going to keep going, that was it. But, yeah, they just gave me back like half of my money that would have been gone on straddles. So I cannot complain. That was probably one of the best outcomes if you had old straddles just sitting there. Well, yeah, the news that we're looking for is updates on trade. You know, UK, EU, China, do they make a trade deal or not? That's going to really be the headlines we're looking for. And then now, too, any Trump plans or anyone on the admin walking things back, not being as aggressive, or if bond yields go down, I'm sure they'll start being nice. The link to the rumor, there's no link to it. I just reacted. I didn't even call out the rumor. We started hearing it and people in the chat were saying it, but yeah, it just came from Twitter. But it didn't show up on any of my wires. Like, all I did was went straight to reaction. I hope you guys see that. Next time you get anything like that, you have to really, like, we go through our checks, go through the dollar, bonds, currencies, everything related to, like, okay, is this news or not? But after that, if you can't figure it out, you should start just, in that case, I just went straight to selling calls. I don't think it was too big, but then it was kind of weird, and you should always doubt that. This is how we're going to play it. You know, when volatility is high, especially with Donald Trump, you're going to get these rumors back and forth, but after some point, just go straight to the reaction. You need to know when it's a big move and when you have time to kind of sift through. But that one, I went straight to reaction, and then, you know, by the time I was done reacting, people were like, okay, it's fake, but it even sounded a certain way too. But yeah, it was just Twitter, but we caught the market reaction. We didn't catch the headline. And then that's why by the time we were done with it, ta-da. Well, I think today was a good little hint on how a trade deal would look, though. Keeping head on a swivel, baby. That's right. Crazy, bro. It is climbing up, so position or kind of weight. I mean, that kind of messed up some premiums because now some calls are still jacked up, and then even some puts. Actually, those puts just came down. So we'll see. Are institutions really looking at X? I don't know. This is welcome to high uncertainty. You know, everybody's jumpy right now. Like, that's it. You just went through multiple days, 5%. So at the end of the day, everybody is jumpy. So that's a weird rumor, and it's weird how rumors get you going. But remember, even in the beginning of the year, like Washington Post, CNN, anything related to the dollar, these rumors can have a big impact. But I just think people are really sensitive, and that's why we had that. But we'll see. But it's a big topic. Again, the topic of trade and trade delays in these negotiations. The real update is going to move us a lot. So I'm sure everyone's going to be poking around for one. India foreign minister spoke to U.S. Secretary of State on early conclusion of bilateral trade deal. So I don't know if that's good or bad. Could be a good first step. But India foreign minister and U.S. foreign minister. It's a green Monday for me. Pay the plug. Welcome back, baby. I hope you rested up. I hope you guys get it. I really, really hope you do. that right there was a sample. Costco, baby. That was a Costco sample of exactly how it's going to taste once we get a trade deal. So keep that in mind. We could go a lot lower for no reason, and we could do all sorts of things, but just keep in mind that whenever we negotiate in a real official negotiation that settles the rate at a lower price, the market has a lot now to unleash. So just keep that in mind, because I think that was good to see when we're going through all of this downside, because it's like, oh my gosh, sentiment's destroyed, things look terrible, but all it takes now is one good development, and if they walk back from this cliff, I mean, there you go. Structures unclear, covering Costco hot dog. Let's go. Oh, that sounds so good. Mr. Lehigh. Grateful for finding the chat, baby. Green Monday for me. Let's get it. And get a long term. I know. This is it, man. When people, right when you don't want a long term. Oh, but this is a beautiful time. Because, again, all those value plays I was telling you to focus on, some went lower, but most of them, they were already down. So keeps that in mind. Yeah, the TSM, those Broadcoms. We had Broadcoms go 300, but I got out of those. But yeah, TSM, I have a TSM play that's coming back up. It's not happened before we sold off in 2022. What part? A lot of this looks like everything. That's what I'm saying. This looks like 2022. It looks like 2023. It looks like 2015. It looks like 2018. So there's a lot of factors. Tariffs technically coming to play on April 9th. The reciprocals, that is. They either were loading up on calls or they already had them. Because, bro, I just made a lot of fucking money just by all my old plays hitting right there. That was insane. Every old call that was dead just went 50 to 300%. So that was it. You just had, if you had any straddles that you still made money on, that just gave you the other half of your play. So I'm sure they either loaded up on calls before that rumor, or they already just had a bunch of dead plays. Because, again, that's it. That cashed out a lot. I'm looking at a lot of long-term names. I'm starting to shift from the names I've been telling you to, now just start watching the Mag 7 if they take another haircut like this. So as I'm saying, if we could get Mag 7 now, if I could get Amazon 130 and below, I would like that a lot. So some names like that are very intriguing. Otherwise, everything else we've been looking at, still in play. All those value names. And then again, I still have my cash. So, woo. Thanks for the spy play. You like that one? That was a nice little 1,000%er. I stream alerted him too when to take. I stream alerted the top at 1,000. So I hope you got a good entry and a good exit. I still have a couple of them, but I just used that to buy puts. They're still up 200%. So those spy plays I was telling you, I had a sweet spot in the morning. Those are holding 30 cents to $1, but I got out on a decent amount at $3. They're holding 130, but I sold out at 360 or whatever. What percentage of cash is ideal in your portfolio? Tell them, Chad. How much cash is ideal? Tell them. It is. We're coming back up even with the rumor. Again, VIX was above 40. Damn, NASDAQ is green. But again, people were looking for anything to get a fucking rally. So, I don't know, man. You had the rumor sold off, but you are still climbing up. Oh, we could start the ETF account. I mean, SPY's at 500. But I wanted a little, maybe if we give up the full year, because then we could go back in time. What do I think about AMD? I think you could do better. That's it. That's why everybody who asked me about AMD every day this year, and I refused, aren't you guys happy? I want an apology, or I want you to say thank you. Because I had people really every day asking me, being purposefully annoying about it. And I had to tell you, wait. At the very least, I saved you 30%. So now I like it better than any other time you have asked me. Does that make sense? Now is the first time with AMD where I'm like, okay, at least you're now back at 2020 lows. At least, so I still think it could go down more, but this is like a range where I would consider it. But I still think, again, there's a lot of other plays out there. I still like NVO. It sucks because NVO I think is going to be killer, but then NVO still has the foreign exposure. Again, the dollar and everything else is going to impact them. But yeah, NVO is beautiful. NVIDIA, a lot of them, man. I think it's, I've been the guy where I could be annoying, but I think for the last couple months, I think it was a really nice added mental benefit that you guys didn't have your annoying YouTuber guy telling you to buy shit the whole time. I do think if you didn't start a portfolio, you should have. But, I mean, again, we've been stacking cash for the last 3 months minimum. So it's good to know. And that's why I'm saying, like, there's a lot of plays. I rejected them, and now we're finally getting new prices. So I hope you take advantage of them. Broadcom's going up. I don't know if those plays. Let's see. When did those expire? Yeah, those expired this week. Yeah, bro, I got a lot for those. Woo! Bro, I can't believe I got over 40 cents for those TLTs. That's crazy. SPY is about to go green. That's insanity. NASDAQ is up 0.5%. SPY is up by 0.05. Dow is down by 0.6. And then Russell down by 0.3. This was after gapping down 5.5%. My goodness. All right, TSM, watch if any of the chip plays start to come up. Again, chips have a lot of room to rally. That's why I kind of like them here. So watch out for it. The rumor was that there was going to be a 90-day pause on tariffs, but it was just a very blatant rumor on Twitter. And then that created a 270-point rally and then came back down. They're saying it isn't fake news. It wasn't when they wanted to announce it. I could kind of see that. I was telling you this. I think the bonds, they're going to announce it when the bond rates come down. But at the end of the day, I think for today, because it's so fucking early, half of our dynamic is going to be revolving around this rumor. And whether or not we get it or not, you're going to hear from Levitt, Trump, and all of that. Oh, Preforms. What up, baby? Oh, hey, PNC. Double Dono. Made a OA use Toyota. Let's go. Amen. That was nice. That was nice. We got some used vehicles out of that one. I feel you, baby. I feel you. Wild. Oh, I got an idea. I have an idea. The rumor was 90-day pause on tariffs, but it was fake. Oh, I got the hiccups. Is that real? I mean, that was fake, but we'll see. Trump tweet. Hot dog. All right, well. Oh, is it Tweet or Truth Social? I have hiccups. Excuse me. Too long to post. Rates are plummeting. Oil prices are plummeting. President Trump is not going to bend. Twitter, I'm checking. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is from, he tweeted something like this 24 minutes ago on True Social. So maybe that's why the reaction's a little muted. Oil prices down, rates are down, slow-moving Fed should cut rates, food prices down, there's no inflation, and the long-time abused U.S. is bringing billions. This is despite the fact the biggest abuser, China, just raised tariffs to 34 on top of ridiculously high tariffs. They've made enough for decades, taking advantage of good old USA. Josh sounds like a swine. Don't be a panikin. A new party based on weak and stupid people. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. I'm a big fan of courageousness. Panican, like a Republican, but a panican. All right. Oh, my goodness, bro. I'm sorry, I'm looking. You know, just a little bit of shopping. I think that move messed up a lot of things, but again, it's all off rumor. Keep that in mind. Yeah, again, Trump tweet is hitting the wires. So, yeah, he's spoken a couple times, but every time he talks, I mean, it's not walking back any of the sentiment that you've gotten earlier. So, we'll see. What are the rules about posting plays? If you're going to flex, post the play and then don't, you post them before you sell, usually. And then if you post one of my plays after I make the play, then I'll ban you. Because you should have posted it before. Bro, 8% is, dude, we were down 5% to up 2 on the NASDAQ. That was insanity. I love it, though, man. We came out a winner now. I mean, it was already looking decent, but then that move just, that was like, that skewed everything to like a large degree. All right. All I care now, TSM. That's the one I'm gonna watch. That and then bonds. I like bonds still a ton. TLT is going to be an important one. SPY's still up. That one play is still holding $1.50 from 30. No, emergency meetings, it happens out of nowhere. So no, and whatever you hear about like a closed door meeting, that's nothing to worry about. That's actually very typical. UVXY put screen. I'd be down with UVXY. It just all depends, though. If on the next run, if the premiums actually go lower, then I'm down. Other than that, I wouldn't. It's up a lot. That's why I'm scared. I'm scared of a lot of plays because if we actually get a real big move and it pulls apart and stays there, you'll be far out of the money on one side of the play. That's why those calls, it's crazy because we moved down so much. All of those calls should have been dead, but then a 200-point run made all of them kind of seem likely, and then that's it. So you just got to watch out, and especially when we have high premiums on these days, I think it says a lot. The Dodgers are going to be at the White House. Okay, Microsoft in the green. I think most of tech, where is it? So Dow Jones, 15 names in the green, 15 in the red. So SPY's green by almost 1%, you guys. NASDAQ is up by 1.2. Dow Jones has half of the names green, and it's still barely red. But that's a good sign. NASDAQ 100, are you kidding? Bro, 63 names green on the NASDAQ. That's crazy. That's crazy. So now the NASDAQ is leading. 60% of the NASDAQ is in the green right now. And then SPY, 250 green, 250 red. So Dow and SPY are matched up, half green, half red. And then now you have the NASDAQ. It's leading. You have a majority of the NASDAQ names in the green. Crazy. It's okay. I like the hiccups. They're humbling. Okay, VIX on the low now. So UVXY coming down. Bonds have not moved. Again, bonds got really blown out after the little rumor there. I mean, again, I think today was simple, but just a lot of tension. That's it, bro. There was so much pressure over the weekend. People were like, it's gonna cause this, it's gonna do that, but we waited over the weekend. We gapped down, but just very simple. Either Black Monday or bounce. That's it. We were down 5%. You were close to a circuit breaker. Even now today, you're one comment away from 2% higher or 2% lower. So when it's all said and done, though, I think either bounce or death. That's how you could wrap up today. And, there's already rumors and other fake shit that moved it, but all you got to do is be mindful of that because that's really the path moving forward. You were almost a panicking. Oh, I love it. All right, I need to go get a carbo. Get a drink. I love you, Chad. Good morning. Are you guys feeling good for Monday? I feel ecstatic. Woo! Even though the long term got, chopped, it's going to come back up. And God bless America. Thank you. A burb. Follow me on Instagram at the Trading Fraternity. Real Cult News on Twitter. Woo!
Because Israel's an example where it's our friend,
BRB.
Our ally. We put 17% tariffs on them. They came back and they said no tariff barriers from Israel to the United States. So if there is a negotiation to be had, you would think it would be with a country that is willing to take away all of the trade barriers. So that could be the litmus test.
Israel said zero tariffs before the president put the tariffs on, and the president put the tariffs on them anyway. Right? So what you heard Peter Navarro say on CNBC this morning is it's not just, in his view, about getting down to zero tariffs. It's about going below that because this White House sees what they call non-tariff barriers, everything from a VAT tax to dumping to any kind of currency manipulation. They see all of that as part of an aggressive trade war. So what they want from countries is not only to go to zero, but to eliminate all these other things as well. Is that possible politically, economically? Your guess is as good as mine, but it's certainly not possible anytime soon.
Well, it'll be interesting to see if he can do it with Bibi because that's, they have a good relationship. You know, they've negotiated before. I wonder if he can do that. That would be a good test to see if he can do it with others. Thank you, Eamon.
Yeah, we'll see today.
Keep us posted. It's fast moving coming out from the White House and moving the markets here. With the NASDAQ still positive, let's turn back to the markets and all this volatility. CNBC senior markets commentator Mike Santoli, we sort of rallied into that erroneous headline and have maintained some of the gains here. What does that tell you?
Well, it tells you what the initial conditions were to some degree. Mega oversold, highly torqued market. Any spark is going to cause something to move fast in a short period of time. So we knew that coming in, and we did do some work overnight with the futures, hitting some levels that may or may not prove consequential, but they seem to be kind of widely watched, which would be, you know, basically giving up half of the entire bull market from the October 2022 low. It's also equivalent roughly to the high in January of 2022 before we had that cyclical bear market. So it felt as if you had the setup there, and everybody recognizes that you have this embedded option in the market, which is, as you say, any hint of de-escalation. It's basically like March, April 2020. If there was a day that came out and you saw caseloads going down and you saw the second derivative of the new COVID
actually a
cases
good
going
analogy.
down, the market would rip because everybody is in risk management mode in two directions.
That's what he's saying.
So
you guys remember that during COVID?
What seems like
how if the cases would go higher or lower? That's like trade updates. That's a very good analogy. I could agree with that.
In the very short term, because that's what can happen to you. A 50 VIX, where we are right now, means statistically a 3% daily move in the S&P 500 for the next 30 days. That's not hopefully going to happen. but so it's really hard
to stop yourself.
Hey, look, anything can happen. We are at these rare extremes right now, as you've been talking about, right? One of the biggest two-day drops. All of the things you can look at in terms of how much capitulative-looking selling has happened is there. Now, the problem is you want the moment when almost it doesn't matter what the news is, and the market can maybe find its footing, because nobody can see how this is going to play out. And so when you have that much of a wide band around the probabilities, it's much more about reading the tape, exhausting the selling, seeing if there's another leg down.
Right. You and I were talking this morning about this 50% roughly retracement of the bull market.
48.50-ish.
Which we really weren't that far away from this morning.
Overnight futures, no, we got there, more or less. A little bit above that. I mean, the one
gold
thing
is selling.
Is, I was saying this in
so again,
weeks,
bonds down.
Every time we got
SPY
to
is like up. It just went red. Nasdaq's flirting with red right now.
Down 10%.
Well, that's weird
VIX
that gold
goes
just
almost
moved
to 30.
out of
Let's
everything.
buy 'em.
Yeah, gold's
Wasn't high
dumping.
enough. VIX goes to 40 last week. Not quite enough. And so I think
Jeppy,
you could
if it gets
arguably
low
say
enough,
maybe that's another level that we might have to test a couple of times and figure this out. Look, we haven't built some kind of fundamental margin of safety here. You know, we're still working off of pretty stale earnings expectations.
Oh, shit.
We don't know what the economy's going to do. And I think we'll be lucky if all we're doing is sitting here arguing about
Jeppy's finally cheaper.
But diving in a little deeper.
Maybe.
Okay, I can understand
I don't know.
why the retailers
because,
got
like
sold.
I
That's
said,
just pure
I'm
tariff
always
exposure, right? You can
worried about
understand
like something
why
that's
the
new.
recession
Jeppy's
indicators got
it's
sold
been
a
around
little
only
bit,
for
like
5
the
years,
materials and the
but it's the
industrials,
cheapest
because
it's ever
the
been, and I think it
economic
yields
outlook
9, right?
changes. But I've been watching financials really carefully, because when you look at financials,
Yeah, bro.
they're fairly insulated from direct
I don't know.
tariff pressure.
That could
right?
be
And global
really
flows,
good.
Not great.
I just
Recession,
don't.
not
Again,
good
I don't
as
feel
well.
as
But the fact that they
comfortable
have been very hard
holding
hit
it for
and
10
continue to
years.
be one of the worst performers
But
in the
yeah,
market.
every time
that
Jeppy.
is unloading of exposure
Jeppy's usually a lot
of
higher,
US
and it's
stocks
not
that were
worth
thought
it.
to benefit in a Trump
So
presidency.
now you could get it
Deregulation is
way
great
lower,
in an expanding
9%.
economy,
I like that a
but
lot better.
Deregulation,
I like that a
when
lot
nobody
better.
wants to take loans out, doesn't really work.
Stagflation doesn't help anybody, and you know, credit losses piling up, and all the rest of it, unemployment going up. I mean, none of it's going to work for banks. I also think that I was saying this last week. That was the last note of really complacent long.
Yeah, it's just it's like they sell
holdings.
covered
Now,
calls
I
on
can squint,
dividend
and I
stocks.
said this on Friday too. Look, the Russell 2000 outperformed on Friday. You had a lot of the stuff that really was the first into the bear
STKD,
phase
100%.
that actually firmed up a little bit. In other words, it's
Uber,
moving on to the stuff that people
pause
didn't
due to
want to sell. It's
volatility.
more liquidation mode. I do think you could also look at gold doing that. I mean, gold's been down a couple of days. And people are selling bonds.
You remind me of what Cashin would probably say if he were here, and that is
Rest
you move
in
to a
peace.
period where you sell what you have to. Yeah,
that's kind of where it is. Yes, exactly. And so that's why you look at the stuff that was first.
Mexican
hit
President
and see if you
Sheinbaum
see signs of
wants
life,
to
and
avoid
maybe
putting
that's a positive
reciprocals
divergence.
on
But look, we're
U.S.
arguing about really small stuff
So
around the
Mexico
margins
comment
here.
positive.
The big deal is this economy going to hang in there or not? Are we deciding to just have a recession? That's the big question.
Mike, stay close. Mike Santoli. Let's stick with the markets. Bank of America, Oppenheimer, Evercore have all lowered their S&P
Every
targets
platform's
this morning.
like
They are
working,
joining
but
a
it's like
growing
choppy.
Number of voices on the street reacting
So
to
there's
the
a lot of
tariffs
lag.
and the sell-off.
Some
Let's
things
bring in
weren't loading in the
HSBC
morning,
Chief
but
multi-asset strategist Max
it just
Kepner.
depends.
Max, it's great to have you back. I
Well,
had to chuckle at this line. I think it's
still keep
yours. Our
hiccuping.
usual 6-month tactical horizon has literally been shortened to a few days now.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, I think it's only Monday afternoon, but it feels like a Friday evening already, in terms of the market action. I think just 10 minutes ago we would have probably talked about a bounce in the S&P, and as far as I'm correct, I think we're almost down 1% now. Look, I do think market conditions really are oversold now. To Mike's point, a lot of our indicators, a lot of our shorter-term indicators are really stretched on the downside. A lot of our trend-following indicators are almost max short on equities.
Trump to hold pep
Thursday,
rally for House Republicans and big donors on Tuesday.
Where we were last in.
So Trump has a new pep rally
June
tomorrow.
August 2022. So a lot of the shorter-term indicators really.
Why
are
would
a
I
bit
choose
stretched. What's
Jeppy?
missing
I mean,
is
I
the
might.
Fundamental picture, right? This
Make
is
no
something
mistake,
that can.
I'm not choosing Jeppy. I like it, and I've been asked that a lot, but I lean towards companies rather than ETFs. So even then, you guys are telling me there's this big dip. I think if I can't find a name and Jeppy's still down, maybe I'll consider it. But other than that, I would focus on individuals. So whether it's that or QYLD, like I don't like any of the yield maxes. No, I've heard very bad things about them. But like I'm saying, those I will entertain them, but I don't think I'm actually going to act on them. It just all depends on what happens. So we'll see. We'll see. I'm going to keep playing this so I can get rid of these hiccups.
Oh, of course, now I'm going to drive up my capex. No, you've just got another deadline and another deadline of uncertainty.
Yeah,
so
there's
that
a lot of
uncertainty
discussion
is
about
just going to linger.
Right. What does it get you, even if it's a 90-day pause? But you're not willing yet then to pull the trigger on a recession call.
No, I don't think it matters too much if we call the recession or not. To me, what matters much more is where or at what point are we pricing in that recession. If it comes or not, I'm not necessarily bothered really. What I'm bothered about is when I look at cyclicals versus defensives globally and in the US, they are not pricing those recession odds just quite yet, where I could be saying, look, if there is no recession, it's definitely the bottom. And even if there is a recession, we're now pricing it. That is really what matters to me. That's the one point where I would say, okay, now we can call it, now we can call that a bottom. And we're not quite yet. When we look, for example, at forecast revision momentum, so we sort of track top-down forecast revision momentum and look at that against equities versus
you got
rates,
bonds,
like,
Fed Kugler,
cyclicals versus defensives,
tariff
and
shortages.
You look at equities, cyclicals over defensives.
But yeah,
still
something's
have
going
an
on.
8 percentage
TLT
point gap
smashed up.
between that top-down forecast
Japanese
momentum.
yen as
So
well.
there really is still quite a
Canada,
bit of a
gold's already
sizable
down.
gap to be
All the currencies
undone
are
and
moving.
unwound by cyclicals, despite Thursday and Friday's
Whoa.
meltdown. I think equities overall, let's not forget, the equal weighted
Okay, you got
S&P,
Fed
the
Kugler,
average
but
stock
then
by
everything's
Wednesday
moving right
last
now.
week was almost flat year to date. So we're literally only talking about
Whoa,
a
whoa, whoa,
two-day
bigger
sell-off
drop.
of the sort of broader market, and that's not just been enough to really say, right, the recession is now fully priced in.
No, although no ordinary two-day sell-off. But Max, my question to you is on the
President
rest
Trump
of the world.
threatens
So we've
50%
seen
on
really
China.
Sharp declines across
Yo,
Asia and Europe right now.
threatens
Another day where the
50%
DAX
on
is down
China.
3%,
You're gonna dump.
Spain's down 4%. I've heard two arguments here. Number one, buy the weakness in Europe, because they actually want to stimulate their economies and fight this.
Oh, they're
and
jacking up
trade
the premiums
with other nations more
Whoa,
freely.
they jacked up
or
all of
there's
them.
the view that they're just going to get hit a lot worse than the U.S. no matter what happens. What do you do?
No, I think I buy the rest of the world over the US. So I would
Watch
I
out.
would
Again,
argue
he's
that
threatening
actually the US is gonna
50%
be,
on
at least in
China.
the near term,
That's
the
bad
ones that are
news.
harder hit.
I don't know
Simply
where that's
because
gonna get
what we've
confirmed,
seen
though, so
now
be
in the
careful.
last few weeks is really a confidence and a sentiment shock that has been really put on the US economy, and modeling those confidence and those sentiment shocks is just impossible. We know that is the point where where growth basically stops being linear and where it starts getting non-linear. We don't know how bad.
All right, I got one set of dailies I added to them.
Linear numbers, just with put a
I can't even see what the market's doing, bro. Right when it's bro, it's not even, my shit won't even load. You're dumping.
Not that much of a negative impact for US growth. Absolutely fine.
What
but
the fuck?
If you now look at the confidence and the sentiment shock that we've seen over the last 2 months and that uncertainty shock, it's impossible to model. And
bro, my shit is glitching so bad. I can't even tell. But yeah, you're going down. Trump, all talks with China concerning requested meetings with U.S. will be terminated. Bro, yeah. Bro, the platforms are tweaking out. He's ripping China right now. So you just dropped about, that was 50 points, sadly. You don't really realize it. You just dropped 50 points. But it's, again, a lot of the platform and the premiums are very, very odd right now. So hold on. We have some. Negotiating with other countries will begin taking place immediately. Whoa. Bro, premium just got slashed. No, Baba moved, but dude, I don't know what the fuck is happening. I can't tell the price. So I'm watching the premiums, but they're moving all over the place. What price? Damn, bro. VIX is, I should look at the VIX. This is kind of a trip. I just can't tell how we're moving. I think everything's just broken. Like, bro, none of this shit is loading up. So Trump, additional 50% on China effective April 9th. If China does not withdraw 34% by April 8th. All righty. Bro, they just slashed premiums like crazy, but then now the premiums aren't moving. So, yeah, he's saying if China doesn't drop, he's going to clap them. That's coming out now. Again, this is on Truth Social. Bro, this is terrible. I think this is the death blow. But look, nothing's moving, but I think we're just glitching. You can't correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everything, like, bro, even my TD is not even trading. So, yeah, be mindful, though, but be careful. I think some of the premiums might get clapped. Goyal, India will be cautious about dumping from China. Yeah, bro. I don't know. And then bonds aren't moving. You might still have one more shot on that. Look at this, bro. You can't really get a read on what's moving or not. So be very careful. JNVR. 4.9. Again, since those headlines came out, you've dropped 60 points. But now you're like holding up in the middle of all this. So low key, little more escalation. But now you're not, I mean, it's kind of controlled. I don't know how to describe it other than that. But like, look, Microsoft and a couple names are coming right back. So no issue on that. That's it. That just slashed a lot of premiums. I'm surprised. I mean, wait if he says anything about agriculture, but I genuinely think right now the market is just laggy, and that's kind of having a good effect. Because this is weird. You can't even see what's really trading. And I think everybody's platforms all around are very, very slow right now. So, yeah, the lag switch is kind of bullish. But, yeah, those headlines aren't good. We'll see where we develop from here. You could go with UUP, but it's kind of hard. Again, the direction of the dollar and where that's going to end up, I don't think that's going to be as easy to determine. You missed a lot of rumors. Trump just came out saying he's going to raise more tariffs on China if they don't pivot. We got a 60-point sell-off, and now you've kind of recovered, what, 30, 40% of that? All right, watch out. I don't know. I don't like that, though. I just think ever since those rumors, this kind of reminds me of the beginning of the year. Remember when all of those rumors would kind of like eventually slow things down? Trump says all talks with China terminated unless tariffs are pulled. Again, that's hitting once again. Oh, did I tell you guys that other one? Oh, no, I didn't. Well, yeah, Xi Jinping, if he might reciprocate or he might cool down, but that's it. You have another set of info ready, though. I hope you guys are preparing, because now that means by tomorrow, essentially, you are either going to hear good or bad from China. So now this news is setting up another catalyst for China tomorrow, essentially. VIX is starting to go up. I would like one of those, but they're hard. They won't feel that. Oil futures extend losses. Are we coming back down? Yeah, premiums are going. I'm trying to get another play. I have a different idea. Waiting. Double dip it. All right, bro, this is so slow. Okay, SPY. Again, I stream alerted another SPY play, but they're so fucking slow right now. But yeah, now it's starting to work again. So SPY play, I have no idea where we're at. Yeah, so back to 4961, the low after that little pop. I think. Okay, so the calls are still up. Isn't that crazy? That call from the morning is still up 100%. But now the puts, that straddle put that I used to balance came back. The one I just stream alerted, that one's up a little bit. And then the ones, I was just have one looking. I was looking at one from the beginning. That premium is still slashed. Everything is like sticky. It just feels like I'm playing a video game and everything is like really, really lagged. So yeah, just watch out for that. Send me an email on off market. I'll get to that for sure. I appreciate you. And I hope your morning is good. Now we have to see if these SPY puts. Let's see what happens next, man. Let's Neo Cattle in talks to buy controlling stake in Neo Power Unit. Oh wow, the Euro close in 5 minutes. All righty. So again, 4959. This is where everything started, fake rally or not. So if we go below, this is even the opening. Anything below there, I mean, I don't know how this makes sense, but there's like 100 points of downside. Yang is moving. Again, latest update was negative China news. SPY puts are starting to go a little, still lower than some of the random pot. Again, the premium just jacked up there right when it came out. Watch bonds too. Yang, bro. China is just dying. That's it. Again, that was the one they said more tariffs on China. And then now he said Xi Jinping has till tomorrow. SPY's not moving again. Your E-Trade is not showing the moves too effectively. But yeah, Yang and China's dying. We're kind of still crawling here. Very fascinating. How does that even make sense? All I see is Yang on the high ticker. Do you guys see this? It feels so slow considering we have just gone from -5 to break even to back down to -2. So again, your swings are just vicious. These are 5% back and forth if you really think about it. Yeah, Neo and Cattle and talks to buy controlling stake. That's coming out again. TLT not moving at all either. Again, it moved a little bit on the China thing, but then that's it. Bro, this is wild. Then 2 more minutes now till Euro close. SPY bouncing. That wiped a couple of the puts right there. So see where that takes you. Kugler, new tariffs will be consequential. Started seeing some increases. Moved up short term. I'm waiting to see if any Fed people capitulate. Remember, at this point, we're looking for either policy shift or updates on where trade policy is going to settle. So, again, you're kind of dancing around here. Currencies are chilling out, again, in bonds. But, I mean, it's just a slow burn, baby. Puts have came back. They're just dancing around here at this level. This is it. Either puts are going to die or run, just depending on what happens. So, good luck. There's a decent amount of names that were green. Remember, not too long ago, everything was up. NYMTI. Do I like MSTR? I mean, just depends for what. We'll see. I mean, the next comment from Xi Jinping will say a lot. And Trump, and it's fucking early. Dude, that's it. So we're getting Euro close right now, 15 seconds. SPY is going lower, but, like, you have a lot of time to hear from everybody. So I don't know if it's going to – I mean, it gets close to circuit breaker when we get to the low. Here, 2%, nothing, but we're moving 2-3% really quickly. So it just all depends, but even then, in a weird way – you just absorbed kind of a big set of bad news, and you're holding up. Not too bad. Everybody, let's do a push-up. Stand up. Up. Stand up. Let's go, baby. But, yeah, man, stand up, get the body moving, and make sure that you take care of yourself. Okay, relax. Relax a little bit. Chest to the sun, flex the core. No, that play from Friday, I said just watch it on there, but I ended up not taking it. So, not for now until we get some other moves at, like, the next bounce or drop catalyst. I would play MSTR, but for now, I don't think so. Amen, baby. Move around. Move around. Stretch a little. Where are my resistances? So, yeah, you bounced off that low. Again, it's crazy that this is 60 points, man. So, it's massive, but we'll see how the market ends up taking it.
I think we're playing with fire.
All right,
with
man,
some
move
of the,
around
the
and
amount that we're negotiating because there are other tools that other countries and economies have against us as well, and there's a lot that could play out from here.
Well, it was really good of you to come on and talk.
Well, I wanted to talk about AI. That was so. This was scheduled. This was scheduled before tariffs, and we were here to talk about AI agents and the power of that.
Well, is anything changing on that front?
I think that if
Tell
anything,
us about AI agents.
Yeah, sure. Well, this will be all the rage once
real.
Tariff conversation sort of dies down a little bit. I think we
chilling.
will start to talk way more about the corporate implications that we're going to see from AI, which is more efficiency. More ability to automate more parts of our business. I'm generally an optimist that will actually create more jobs because as you get business efficiency, you can reinvest back into the talent pool. And so we're going to hear a lot around AI agents and what it means to start to run your company in an AI-first way. That's obviously a lot more optimistic and exciting than some of the headwinds that we're facing right now. So certainly hoping that we can get back more to that type of conversation soon in the economy.
Thank you, Aaron.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Aaron Levy
Aaron.
from Box. We'll turn to overseas markets. European markets closing just a moment ago. Huge declines here, but also a rally off the lows, like we saw with the U.S. markets. And then we fell back down into negative territory. So again, very volatile trading. The German DAX had been down more than 10% at the open, then briefly turned positive
How many places
before
got
going red
halted?
again.
Nuts.
That's the kind of moves we're talking about. The European Commission president saying, quote, Europe is always ready for a good deal, adding they have offered 0-for-0 tariffs for industrial goods, as we have successfully done with many other trading partners, she says. Maybe that added some hope in the markets that they are coming to the table to negotiate instead of retaliate. In Asia, Chinese markets reopening after being closed on Friday. Hong Kong's Hang Seng led the losses, falling more than 13%. Worst day since the Asian financial crisis. Mainland China's CSI 300 was down 7%, largest one-day drop since October. The Shanghai Composite falling more than 7%.
All right, it's holding.
We'll see how they open
They're
tomorrow after the
slashing the
president
puts
just
right now.
announced
That's a
additional
big move, bro.
50%
That's 30
tariffs on
points off of
China
that low.
if they don't get rid
That's
of
what
their
I'm saying.
retaliatory tariffs.
There's a lot of room to get slashed there, but
I mentioned Taiwan.
unfortunately,
Almost
this little
10%
range
decline
is
there. Biggest one-day
massive.
drop on record.
So that wherever that
Japanese
Trump
stocks
comment
not
came
faring
from,
much
this
better. The
might
Nikkei
be
losing close to 8%.
its
We
own
were
little
all
level.
watching that dramatic open last night. Entering a bear market.
Dollar
now
ripping.
more than
Nasdaq down
20% off
1.4.
its December peak. Earlier in the day, trading of futures actually was suspended at one point after the market hit some key circuit breakers. Carl, we were kind of all on alert for circuit breakers here because we are seeing such sharp declines. What it's telling you is that this is a global growth story and a global growth worry. And that, yes, it's a U.S. policy shock and a U.S. trade shock, but clearly there are going to be major reverberations overseas for growth. It's part of the administration's calculation here and their calculus that they're going to get hurt worse than we are, but I think everybody's getting hurt together right now. Time now for a news update. Pippa Stevens has it for us. Morning, Pippa.
Good morning, Sarah. A federal appeals court ruled today that 2 Democrats fired by President Trump can go back to their jobs. The 7-4 decision overrules a previous judgment from a 3-judge panel from the same court. It comes after the president's abrupt firings of Gwynne Wilcox from the National Labor Relations Board and Kathy Harris from the Merit Systems Protections Board. The case appears to be setting up a Supreme Court showdown over the president's power to fire members of independent agencies. Meanwhile, the Supreme Court turned away
bonds
a
are going
challenge to a
lower, but
recently
TLT
enacted
premiums
gun
are going
law in
higher.
New York. The measure
So
bans
again,
concealed
bonds have stayed
firearms
pinned.
in
SPY
sensitive
doing this little
locations,
dance, but
such as healthcare
you're right
facilities,
in this is
churches,
the
and
China
parks.
headline one.
The decision leaves
So
in
that's
place
it's
an
moving big.
October
You just
ruling
can't see it.
from
It's
a New
30,
York
40
appeals
points.
court that largely
It just
upheld
looks
the
so big
law.
today that every
and Jay
move
North,
looks normal.
the actor known for his role as Dennis the Menace, has died.
Dennis the
North
Menace!
started playing the title character on the show in
No.
1959 when he was 6 years old. A fellow cast member confirmed the news, saying he died from colorectal cancer. Jay North was 73 years old. Carl, back to you.
Pippa, thank you very much. Coming up after the break, Deepwater Asset Management's Gene Munster's with us on this meltdown on the
Oh, man. Well, you're moving on up. That's going to hustle some of those puts there. So I had some for tomorrow. I'm going to hold those with some of the other calls, but that's going to kill them. Those are, if you bounce back up to that level, they'll be down like 50. Those are already break even. They're already moving down 20. So, yeah, they're slashing the puts, but remember what happened on Friday, you guys, is that whatever play you make, I would decide on it because sometimes you might make more money an hour or two later AKA it's very easy to make a play. It moves around, and you're like, all right, but just remember, all these prices are just being made up. 73, not 23. All right, you're back to VWAP. This was the first range of that. Again, this is still a massive move. So from that Trump thing, it brought you down like, what, almost 100 points? Am I tripping? Yeah, it was massive. So you got half of that back. So let's see. And you're right at VWAP. Bonds are going down, but premiums are climbing, ironically enough. So we'll see. Volume is, I'm sure, very high. Yeah, bro, we're already at 143 million. Ugh. Holy crap. Yeah, bro, you're going to get, this is a wicked move already. Holy shit. Yeah, bro, you already have over 100 million volume on the day, or is that 80? I already forgot. Yeah. Bro, 144 million is insane. All right, so you're back to VWAP. Volume is high. The rumors are flying. Euro closed. FTSE down 4.6. Germany down 4.2. France down 4.9. And Spain down 5.1. Meanwhile, we are down 1.3 right now on the SPY. 1.1 on the NASDAQ. Do I feel about UPS? I feel exactly the same. I feel like I've gone in depth with stuff too. So if you have been paying attention, I mean, I'm purely just exercising patience right now. So my plan, my cash portfolio, where we stand with it, the names I want, I'm just kind of waiting now until either extremely low prices or we get another opportunity. So hold on, I'm looking. Okay, you're back to VWAP. Where are those other puts? The ones I made are down 40%. Those are the ones I made with that call. Because remember, I still have a daily SPY call. So those are the ones that we got free. And then those are still up holding 120. But they slashed both sides. So now puts and calls are both cheaper. Just depends when you got your entry. Hear you out, GMC and AMC calls? No, thank you. Just go home. Go to GM. Just go hang out at GME land. How are you going to get 15% off on the stock market and then that's all you... That really? No, sir. Trump is live. Oh, with the Dodgers. Okay, let's see. Wow.
Congratulations. President Stan Kasten, one of the greatest managers of the really ever to wear the Dodger blue. Dave Roberts, what a time he's had. That's great. What a job. I think he would have lasted even with George Steinbrenner, right? I love George, but he was very quick. He would, you lose 2 games and you were fired, right? Great job, Dave. Also want to recognize Secretary of Agriculture. We have some great people, Brooke Rollins, who, when I came to office, they said the eggs are gone through the roof. Eggs. I said, what the hell are they talking about? I was there for 4 days and they were blaming me for eggs, and they've gone up like 6 times or something, some record number, you couldn't get them. And I gave it to Brooke, and I just saw the other day they're down 73%, right? That's pretty good. And the press doesn't mention that. Nobody talks about it, so don't, but I know. Secretary of Labor, Lori Chavez DeRimmer. Thank you. Congratulations.
ARTV and Rhythm.
The Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles, who's a big Dodger fan, by the way. Susie, thank you. And we have also Representatives Kevin Kiley, Congressman Kevin Kiley, Young Kim, thank you, congratulations, great job. Jay Olbernolte, Jay, thanks Jay. Nanette Barragan. Nanette, where's the, hi Nanette, oh look at that, huh, what nice outfit. One of my favorite people, Gus Bilirakis, Congressman.
Barakis.
Addison McDowell, new to the Congress, but doing a great job. Thank you, Addison. A real good baseball player and a friend of mine, Roger Williams. Great job. And another new congressman, but he's been there a long time in a mental sense because he has really done a job and he knows Congress very well. He was with me for 7 years. Brian Jack. Brian, congratulations,
Brian Jack.
And others. We have a couple of senators here. I just don't particularly like them, so I won't introduce. Over the course of this amazing season, the members of this team
Okay, 5047. You're up 100 points.
Washington.
From that low right here. That's 100
season,
points, bro.
The members of this
It's crazy.
team gave us some of the most incredible
Still down, though, on the day.
performances
0.3 on the
baseball
NASDAQ,
diamond.
0.6 on the SPY.
In all of baseball history, only 6 players have ever hit 40 home runs and stolen 40 bases in a single season. And an elite group known as the 40-40 Club. It's a 40-40 club, and very few people make it. But unanimous National League MVP, Shohei Ohtani. Looks like a movie star. He's got a good future, I'm telling
Danny.
you. He shattered all of those records last year. Think of it, all
This
of them.
one's for
And he
Shinzo.
did something even more because he became the first ever member of the 50-50 club. So 40-40 is top. Hitting 54 home runs and 59 steals, and accomplished an accomplishment unparalleled in 149 years of Major League Baseball. Think of that. That's just incredible. Even more incredibly, Shohei clinched that achievement in what some have called the greatest game ever. Was it that good of a game? Huh?
NDRA. Endra. Abby would be proud. So proud.
And he's getting better. That's scary for a lot of people, huh? Even more incredibly, Shohei clinched the achievement. I mean, it really was, and at a time that, at an age that nobody ever thought was possible.
Yeah,
on September
bro.
19th, 2024.
Bro, sadly, this is all fake right now. So Trading Technology says data outage hitting multiple markets. LME trading impacted by TT outage, people familiar say. So, yeah, like we're saying, if you're a brokerage, but they're reporting something now from the LME and then multiple markets reporting outages.
Gone 6 for 6, just period, right? Not very much, right?
Maybe a dozen.
Maybe a dozen. Amazing. As you know, the Dodgers were down a lot of talent on the mound last season due to injury. The resilient group used 40 different pitchers, the most ever by an eventual World Series championship team. They had to go and get them. I don't know how they got them and where they got them, but they got them because they won. I know you especially miss the heart and soul of the pitching staff, Clayton Kershaw, who is really fantastic.
All right, you're moving up here now. You're about to get higher than the Trump level. That's when the 50% tariff on China came out.
Incredible. But Clayton has been unbelievable, and if you look at his records and you look at the stamina, the endurance that he's had, and we're really happy to have him. I'm glad to meet him. I've watched him for a long time. He's a young guy yet, but you are a young guy, but I've watched you for a long time. So congratulations, amazing. All year, the Dodgers faced down adversity. You entered the playoffs battered and bruised, but not broken.
Follow me on Instagram at the Trader Fraternity. Real Code News on Twitter. Let's see. You came back to the level.
They had great
Either
arms,
break or
but they
bust.
ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular, and pitchers, I guess you could say, in really particular. But the starting rotation during the National League Division Series, this scrappy Dodgers bullpen shut out the Padres, saved the season, and forced Game 5. Then key players battled back from midseason injuries to help deliver the National League pennant, including superstars Mookie Betts. Oh, is he good?
Good looking.
Mookie. That guy can play, can't he? I mean, unbelievable. You really, Mookie is, I've been watching it. I don't want to say I watched him when he was on Boston, but I did. I didn't think that was a particularly good trade when they made it, and I happened to be right. And Max Muncy, I want to congratulate Max. Max. Come here, Max. His arms are very strong when I touch them. I'm used to shaking politicians and hitting their armors like Jell-O, and now it's like steel. All these guys, but Max, that's great. And also Yoshi Yamamoto. Yoshi. Wow, what great athletes. And of course, series MVP.
I love that game.
Tommy Edman. That was an MVP series.
MVP.
Good feeling, right? With all these guys, you're the guy, right? Yeah, that's pretty good. That's a lot of talent you had to beat out there for the MVP, but they all had an incredible. Tommy was 407 with 11 RBIs in 6 games. That's not bad, right? That's not bad. Great job. When it counted, too. Next came the blockbuster World Series against another iconic team known as the New York Yankees. I love the Yankees. George was a great friend of mine. He had very few friends, but he was. And if you want to sit for 9 innings with a game watching the Yankees play with George, you were exhausted by the end of the game. It was actually hard work, but we love George. And they're doing a good job, and they're doing well this season, and you're already 9-2. And so you're doing a good job. Maybe you see the same thing over again. In Game 1 of the World Series, Freddie Freeman, on a sprained ankle. He's a great player with a broken finger and a broken rib, channeled Kirk Gibson's legendary walk-off home run in Game 1 of the 1988
Powell does not
World
speak
Series.
today,
That was a game that pretty much everybody remembers. He could hardly swing the bat, but he swung it one time, and it was a shot. On the first pitch Freddie saw in the bottom of the 10th, he hit an unforgettable walk-off grand slam home run, the first in World Series history. It's amazing. The Dodgers rode the momentum to win 2 of their next 3 games, placing them on the verge of baseball immortality in a dramatic Game 5, down 5 runs on the top of the 5th. That was a strange inning, I'll tell you. For those Yankee fans, I'm not saying I was a Yankee fan because I love these people behind me. But down 5 runs in the top of the 5th with 2 outs and the bases loaded, the Dodgers gave us one of the grittiest half-inning World Series events, showings that anybody's ever seen. Mookie started the rally by beating out a routine ground ball to first, which he's fast as hell. I don't know how the hell you can. Having that speed isn't that a great thing? I played baseball, but it was sort of slow. I wasn't fast. Driving in the phenomenal Kike Hernandez. Where's Kike?
Kike.
It's a hell of a group. Then Freddie drove in 2 more runs, and
all right, man, get ready. If you go back above this level, this is where they announced that. That's where you got that bad side. I'm surprised. I think something's missing, but you just had 50% China tariffs.
So
that's it. You brushed that off
well this season
for now.
Too?
Still mad early.
Yes, that's what I heard.
But this is that level
that's
I'm talking about.
After a few dominant innings from Blake Treinen. Where's Blake? I heard dominant, right? That's dominant. Great job, Blake. And the team was crowned the World Series champion against a great team. The Yankees are a great team and always a great franchise. And I guess, I don't know, like 28 or something. They've won a lot, probably, maybe more than any team in history overall. And you might be catching them pretty soon if you keep going. You've got a little ways to go, I guess. The scouting report at the start of the series said that the Dodgers could win by focusing on the fundamentals, and that's exactly what they did. You showed America that it's not about individual glory. It's about the team digging deep and sprinting right through first base, and you did that all the time. I watch some games.
Yeah, they're working
baseball.
to gradually restore CME.
But you always see a spirit.
I think
in
the
this team.
CME is down right
has
now.
To do with the ownership and the management.
So you
frankly.
might have one exchange
you see a
inactive.
spirit on the Dodgers that you don't see with a lot of teams. A lot of teams I turn on, I say, oh, let's forget it. When I turn on the Dodgers, I like to watch the team. And now that I've gotten to meet these guys personally, I like it even more. I'm going to like it even more, and you're off to a great start. After seeing how successfully you've begun the season, I can tell you that you can plan on being back here. I hope you're going to be back here next year. I don't want to give you too much because we want to have a little suspense for next year, but I will tell you, we're going to go down. We're going to do something we don't do generally. We're going to run them down really fast. Have a game today? Do you have a game today or tonight? We're going to run them down to the Oval Office, and we're going to show them the fabled Oval Office, and there's nothing like it. And this wonderful owner, one of the greatest owners in sports, by the way, from everything I've heard, one of the greatest owners in sports, along with your other compatriots, right, fellas? It's a great team of owners, and that's very important. But he said they'd love it, and I think he'd like to do it himself. So we'll get out of here, and we will run. We'll sprint down, and we'll see the Oval Office, which is really something to see, you know? It's funny, people come from all over, the biggest people, the richest people, the most powerful people, and they come and they go into the Oval Office and they just stare. Oh, wow, that's something. They all have beautiful offices. They have offices that are the best in the world in many cases, but they love the Oval Office. So with all of that, I'd like to now
all right, China's flipping now.
The Dodgers.
The whole
chairman,
trade
Mark
is
Walter,
that's
to
still
say a few
initial
words,
reaction
and
still
we're
playing
gonna
out.
Follow that up with
You're
Clayton,
back
who's
to where
gonna
it
say
started, but
a couple
now
of things, and
China
that's a great
down, and then
representative
you're
of a
getting
great team.
red candles
Thank
on the
you very
spot.
much. Mark, thank you.
Well, thank you very much. We're very pleased to participate in the tradition of bringing champions to the White House. Last season was an incredible season. We won the World Series. Second time in 2020, and since 2020, and only 8 times in our seasons or our history. We played in front of almost 4 million fans, and we had many millions more on television. Our global following has soared, and not only from Shohei Ohtani, but also from Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Clayton Kershaw, and many, many more. Alongside this on-field success, we have been deeply immersed in our community. Our players and managers have supported have each had foundations and support.
Until the spy moves, you should just be standing up, moving around.
Our trust last year has committed $100 million.
I think this is going to be its own little range.
LA
you break
Fire.
out, that's good. If not, this is still now the China
so on
tariff
behalf of the
shit.
organization, I want to thank you.
Excuse me.
Okay, wow, this is an incredible honor for me, and to stand here today representing the Los Angeles Dodgers and this group of staff and players behind me today. The 2024 Los Angeles Dodgers season is one that will go down the history books, always holding a special place in the hearts of myself and those there with me, as well as millions of Dodger fans around the world. This organization exemplifies what it means to come together as one for a greater purpose and to represent something so much bigger than themselves.
Okay, Baba's reacting.
The selflessness and humility that each one of these players and staff have shown over the last year is truly an inspiration. They have constantly played hurt, switched positions, and taken the ball to put the team first. As a spectator for our championship run last year, I was in awe of this group. Their unwavering confidence, coupled with the selfless pursuit for team excellence, was an inspiration. That is why I'm so grateful to get to speak today on their behalf, as I know none of them would say this about themselves. Moving forward, I hope the 2024 Dodgers can serve as an inspiration to many like they were to me, not just in sports, but in life, remembering to put others before ourselves. It moves a team and a society forward. So thank you for allowing me to speak today.
VWAP. China's still
because the story
selling.
of the 2024
Everything
World
else doing
Series
good. Again,
champion
you're
Los
about
Angeles
50-50
Dodgers is a
Dow
true joy
and
to get to tell.
SPY.
And it's
NASDAQ
because
is
of the
actually
extraordinary
leading.
people that are
Again,
behind
Bob at
them
104
and their
now.
incredible pursuit of excellence. Thank you. And Mr. President, we have a.
I mean,
gift for
yeah,
you as
bro.
well.
Every European market is down 5%. They already closed, so I don't know if the CME stuff's getting in the way, but for now, even with more rumors, you have the SPY, NASDAQ, and Dow doing 5 times better than the rest of the world. Again, more sales on Baba. Wow. That sounded good. Doo-doo. So yeah, Baba, China again, and is that it? We started bouncing ever since he came out here with the Dodgers, but yeah, that's over now. But latest headline was Trump put out a Truth Social saying more tariffs if Xi Jinping doesn't remove them by tomorrow. You had a 100-point drop, 100-point run-up, and now you're chilling right above where the first rumor of the day started. Because this first rumor was that there was going to be a tariff delay. They said it was fake, and then you had Trump talking China here, and then that's it. And then we just had European close, like I was just saying. Everywhere closed down about 5%. Germany, Europe, Italy, France was all about 4 to 5%. But we're kind of doing the best in the world right now. So we'll see. He dropped that tweet before meeting Otani, yes. And then again, you have, like we saw our platforms tweaking out today, anytime there's like real volume. Volume is massive right now too. If you guys aren't aware of that, volume is extremely high. But literally the, what's it called? Oh, I just blanked. Something to do with volume. Yeah, either way, I think we got to wait till we get an update. Oh, I had something else to tell you. We are the champions. What movie's that from? Mighty Ducks. It's good. Gold is not going up because somebody's liquidating right now. A lot of people when things get this bad, you got to sell winners to pay for the losers. And I think that's why gold is down. Eventually it'll go up. I think gold is going to go up until they pivot policy. At this point, I think you'll get the little sell-off when people need money. But once you get all of the margin call peeps out the way, I think gold is going to go right back up. Okay, Baba's still flushing. So ever since that headline, this is what I'm saying. Look at the market. We bounced, but Baba dropped $5, $6 from that and still going lower. So that is still in play. That one was real. So you moved more off of a rumor, and then the real news you dropped and popped, and now we're kind of barely moving. But, yeah, the China is still picking up off of those Trump comments, and that's still going down. Thank you. Made it free. Making it free is good. All right, let's see. They crushed SPY puts there, yeah. Actually, one set of SPY puts is down 10. That's not that bad. But they have to have time. The dailies are down now. Those are the ones we grabbed ahead of time. So we'll see. Actually, I got an idea. Baidu flushing. Yeah, all China is getting clobbered right now. Yuan falls to 11-week low. So China currency is getting work too now. That's not going to be good. Yeah, no, volume is crazy for this early. It's only 12. Again, I mean, 5% pre-market, nothing to balk at. I mean, at this point, it's kind of crazy. U.S. is the best on the day, even though we started it. Home inspection at 5:30. Good luck, baby. Amen. And congrats. HYG. I sold out of those, but that was a hitter. Again, that was the largest move on HYG since 2020. Just these last couple of days. All right. More sells in China. That ever since the news is still going lower. We're kind of coming down, but U.S. stocks are holding up very, very good comparatively. So again, this isn't that you're just hugging 5,000. Remember, this at one point, this is like the very low end of any of those Trump puts that people were expecting. Again, you were 170 points below that this morning. So, yeah. Let's see, Tesla, Apple, Bobo. Yeah, bro, everything's kind of still posted up. It's crazy with this much volume. It feels so slow, but I just think the chart is so big now. Even on like individuals, like, bro, these are $2, $3 moves. It's just, it looks small, but it's actually very massive. Are those calls? Well, those SPY calls in the morning are still up 100%. That's kind of crazy. Waiting to pounce on the next rumor. I thought that one was going to hit a little harder, but we'll see. Other than that, though, I do think today is going to be, that's what you are waiting for. It is a game of the next rumor, the next update. So we'll find out. And then BABA, bro, 103.50 now. It was at 109.60 when that first came out. Pfizer, dude, that's at a 22 handle. So that's another target. That's one I was looking at. And we already have a good position. But there is a lot of those names. Hunt. Tesla. K-Web still dropping. 29.01. They're down 7. Oh, I didn't even look at oil. Gold's still down. Again, you're at 5,000. I think you'll get action there. Still China. Every time I look at the low ticker or high ticker, something related to China. Yeah, oil's at 60, down 2. None of the currencies moved. Starbucks is at 78? No way. It gave up the what's it called? The guacamole Chipotle run. Oh, wow. Yeah, it did. Oh, wow. You could get Starbucks like at the low. All right, low ticker picking up, but it's only China names. So I got, again, the other part of this part was fake news with the delay. This part was real news with China. But ever since then, I'm just watching China names move. And that's it. Yeah, Starbucks could be good. I didn't realize Starbucks gave back that little run up there. Yen future. I mean, yen, again, with the bonds. Because, again, bonds are down, too. Don't forget that correlation. Those kind of go hand in hand. Bro, you're just chilling. So, 5002, you haven't, last couple minutes, you haven't moved more than like 2 points. 5001. So, get ready. This will be its own little baby level. I mean, you don't see it, but anytime we've broken this, you've gone down like 30 to 40 points, bro. Oh, yama. What up, baby? Bless the chat. Free some of them. Happy Monday. Good morning. It is still mad early, too, you guys. We're 30 minutes off a Euro close. So we still have the whole day ahead of us. That's the crazy part. So, again, we were live last night, 5% futures, all of that. But just remember, it's still a long journey. Got to take it one day at a time. All right, so starting to go down, you're about to break, or you are breaking 5,000. So, look, you went down 8 points just on the break of 5,000. You don't really see it, but like I'm saying, it's kind of large here. China still leading down ever since those Trump comments. Yang still again, more China lows. That sucks because I want to even make an average on one of those plays, but they're like hoeing it. Going to be careful. CRM. Why is that thing barely moving? Okay, and then you got a green candle. Larry Fink on Bloomberg. Larry, what's he going to say? Remember, every time he comes on, he's either going to say buy the dip or run away. Remember last time he tried to play that game? So we'll see. Yang still going. Again, K-Web. That's the most activity I'm seeing right now. Just China shit. That is it. Einhorn, Finkel. Bonds are holding, like I told you, even when it was going down, premiums were climbing. Yeah, it is Fink.
The markets are down 20%. So some stocks are down over 30, 40% from their high water marks of just from January. But in the long run, I would say in the long run, this is more of a buying opportunity than a selling opportunity. That doesn't mean we can't fall another 20% from here too. But I do believe over the long run, the vitality of the United States will persist. And I'm still proud in terms of working with every investor worldwide.
When you just said it doesn't mean that the market can't drop another 20%,
Yeah.
a bit of a gasp go through the audience.
All right.
I won't like it, but it's not going to, but unlike
I do. I think I might get a protein. I keep hearing too many of these.
You don't see the
forks.
leverage in the system. You don't see systemic risk. You see, this is more geopolitical issues. Look, the fundamental issue that we're all trying to recognize, post-World War II, the United States was a global stabilizer. And I've been now in July will be my 49th year in finance here in New York City. And that's been one of the foundational tenets of I would say the financial community, that we live and work and grow with our economy, and one of the main foundations of the U.S. that we are a global stabilizer. Obviously, in the last week, we have not been a global stabilizer. We have
finance,
and I think that is something that is this going to persist?
Yeah, that's hitting the wire. BlackRock CEO says 20% market drop in 3 days has impacts. Could see more.
There will be. These are questions that must
Larry
be
Fink
asked.
speaks at Economic Club. Says market could fall another 20%, but does not see systemic risk.
There's a lot of
as
questions
hitting
that
wires.
we need to be asking
Again, you just heard it live.
But 80 days ago in Davos, the phrase was American exceptionalism. You heard everywhere. I would say probably every
Okay, you're getting into the lower
meeting I
end
went
of the
to,
China
everyone was
headline.
focusing on how to do more in the United States. And obviously that's been thrown out right now. Obviously you could look back and say that was, just irrational exuberance of too much related to the US. And so that we are seeing a recalibration. 75% of the market value, this would be for the last few days, 75% of the market value of the global capital market was here in the United States. Can there be a reordering of that in the short run? Maybe in the medium term? Sure. And so all of this is the type of questions. Clients have historically underweighted Europe. Okay. So far this year, that's been a bad trade. Should clients be reorienting themselves back into Europe? Should they be reoriented into more of a more broadening of of a portfolio. So all these questions are being asked, and I don't have a good answer yet, but I am troubled by that we are
gold
not the stabilizer
flushing.
as a country. We are destabilizing.
So again, you just hit a low
and I think this is
of the China stuff and kind of bouncing, and then gold just took a flush.
Let's say at least a couple of competing narratives. One of those narratives is from President Trump himself. He says that the tariffs he rolled out last Wednesday in the Rose Garden will create an economic renaissance and make America wealthy like never before. And then the other narrative is the public market narrative.
They are
That's the one that's
smacking
telling us
these
something
plates, bro.
altogether different, that the tariffs are an economic train wreck in the making. And if anything, they'll make not only the U.S., but perhaps other countries a lot poorer. Which of those narratives is right?
It's probably something in between, but I'm, you know, as a market participant, I'm more in the market narrative. So let's be clear. In the United States right now, 8% of workers are in manufacturing. 8%. 8. So how much more should it be? 16%? I don't know, but it's not. I don't think. You know, I looked up what the new entry level of automotive worker is today. It's about $25 an hour, $25 to $28 an hour. That's not a great job versus today. And Brad Smith, the president of Microsoft, talked about this last Monday, stating that we're going to have a shortage as large as 500,000 electricians in this country. Electricians today are paid over $150,000 a year, especially if the advanced electricians are doing AI and all that. So there are many ways where we could create great jobs instead of this whole reordering. And so I believe the markets. I've always believed in the markets, and I believe the markets are telling you the real story. And the markets are telling that story right now. Could the story be a little too negative now? Maybe. Could it be not negative? Not maybe too. I'm not here to suggest we're over this pathway. We'll have to see how this plays out. You know, and so we're going to have to see how this plays out. But let me step back and respond to another statement you said. Let me just reiterate, 75% of the global capital market is rested here in the United States. I would say that means the United States is fabulously successful when you have that. That being said, and I wrote this in my CEO letter that came out a week ago today, the biggest issue we have in capitalism, the biggest difference that we have today is we have not seen a broadening of the economy as much as we need to. And I think this is what President Trump is trying to do. How can we broaden the economy that we can have more opportunity for more? I mean, like I said, I think we need more schools that help men and women in the trades like electricians and other areas where we know we have a severe shortage right now. And the other thing I would say, if you look across the different
dude, it's been China dumping for the last hour now at this point, right? Yeah, it's been an hour since that headline came out.
Focusing on enough. All of this, in my mind, is much more
Web and Baba here. These are the only things really moving. Everything else kind of just staying pinned.
Well, the market is talking about all the recessionary
The video is green,
which obviously will mute down prices. But if all the tariffs, and I'm not saying they're going to be put into place, if all the tariffs are would be put in place, almost so many items are going to be much more elevated. Two,
more expensive.
Yes, more expensive. We have so many needs.
Talk about demand destruction.
And we're at 4% unemployment. When I started in Wall Street in 1976, full employment was considered 6%. And we reevaluated, and now we say maybe what is full employment, 3 or 4? I don't know what if they even use that term anymore. But we have shortages of workers, and we're going to have even more shortages of workers. And if you overlay a part of the reason why we had American exceptionalism 80 days ago, and AI, the need to build out infrastructure is just as great today. And my biggest fear as we roll out AI in the United States, building these data centers, building our electricity grids, building out America, building out our infrastructure. We don't have enough workers already. All of this is going to lead to higher elevated wages, which is in some respect a good thing, but a lot of it is going to be elevated inflation. So this notion that the Federal Reserve is going to ease 4 times this year, I see zero chance of that.
Trading technologies, all systems operational after outage.
We could have an,
So
elevated
CME is back online right now,
higher than they are
I
today.
believe.
Zero chance of 4 or 5 Fed cuts, depending on.
Trump issues veto threat on tariff bill, Axios.
Zero chance of any cuts whatsoever.
That's not an unrealistic idea, and I think the Chairman Powell said that last week when he said we need to have more information. I don't see any reason to cut right now, and that's how I interpret his comments last week.
So you're concerned about inflation.
Larry Fink is the reason why TLT is not going up.
Can I interrupt? Excuse me.
Sure.
I'm concerned about inflation if all the proposed tariffs truly go into place. At the same time,
That doesn't make sense, though. Because if all those tariffs really did come into play, all tariffs are deflationary at their end. I'm very confused how this man manages so much. So he's either lying or he doesn't know. I'm going to go with lying.
By bringing down the tariffs, we could actually, the end result could be lower tariffs across the board. And I think that's what when he talks about reciprocal tariffs, he's talking about, I'm going to match your tariffs, and if you bring them down, I'm going to bring them back down. And so there is some value to that.
Yeah, he literally just said zero chance of 4 or 5 cuts. Larry Fink is the one who doesn't want the bond rates to go lower. Because he's saying that the highest tariffs in 100 years
American business would be the
cause
biggest beneficiary.
Inflation and would not lead to rate cuts.
Changed how these
That's very fascinating
that we've created over the last 80
because,
years. Is it
because any other time you've had these tariffs, you've had way more rate cuts
today, and how to try to make it.
So
more
it's very, very
sure.
contradicting, or he's lying, like I'm saying.
So we'll see
That's
how
my
this all plays
opinion.
out.
Because any time from Smoot-Hawley where these tariffs, if you actually followed through, the Fed had to cut because they're deflationary. They're not inflationary.
So you've touched on
what he said,
this
zero
idea,
chance.
Larry, that perhaps there's
That's
some
a very bold
justification
statement.
for a change in.
I think he's showing his hand.
I was with a senator today, and he talked about we import 29 million tons, which seems like a lot, of beef from Australia, and yet our beef cannot go to Australia. Okay, there's something that sounds like a legitimacy.
So that's one of the justifications that the president cites, right? Fairness.
Yeah.
Right? Other countries are, in his words, ripping us off. The second.
I'm not going to go talk about that.
Okay, the second is revenue. Taxing imports will raise trillions of dollars to pay down the federal debt.
At whose cost, though? No, that's never discussed.
And then there's a third, right? Yeah. Reindustrialization, that companies will bring jobs and factories back to America. Which of those, is that a package of arguments that makes sense?
I believe there are in some areas where we need to bring back the
bonds are going to come down here right now. Watch if the bonds break this level. They have it in hours.
Or Swiss watches or anything like that we have to have, or shrimp from Vietnam. I mean, all these different things. There are some industries where having a more control of your supply chains is probably very.
So you're
important.
making the case for a much more calibrated.
But that's who I am. I'm always a little more balanced in the center. Yes.
What about the theory that these retaliatory tariffs are part of a Nixonian grand strategy, like dropping the gold standard was to solve America's debt problem by forcing down treasury yields and weakening the dollar? That's a theory that has some purchase right now.
Well, I do believe the dollar will be weakened. I mean, most political theory or economic theory is tariffs raise the value of the currency. I think it's going to weaken the dollar. Look, the one thing I would say with certain, the economy is weakening as we speak.
And so.
But then why do you not talk
the
about demand
administration to focus
destruction
on these pro-growth
and only talk
agendas,
about
which was
inflation?
Much of what the president
Doesn't
campaigned on.
make sense, sir.
We have to get that going. Whatever it's the tax cut, we need to be deregulating. We need to be streamlining permitting. Exactly all the things I've been writing about, where we need to get the private capital, private markets to start investing in the United States. We need to, and I think right now the market's not focusing on all these. We forgot about the power of AI, the power of all these different changes. We're focusing on the market. But the macro trends of AI, the macro trends of rebuilding our infrastructure.
I think Larry doesn't want the yields to go lower. It makes sense. He's a fucking bank. He's getting paid 4.5% on nothing. You know what I'm saying? But
go back to this view
he just made some very bold statements, which, again,
the president has been focusing on
for
right
somebody
now,
managing a big portion of the equities in the world.
And destabilizing
I'm very surprised of his lack of humility.
Find ways of rebuilding,
to say there's a 0% chance of rate cut odds
these agendas
when the VIX is above 50 right now. And then and again, he really believes that there's a chance that tariff rates stay high. It doesn't really make sense because, again,
headed for a recession? Are we in a recession?
The last time the tariff rates were this high, it was a rate cut cycle.
Would say we are
again, tariffs are deflationary if you take them to their logical end.
CEOs told me, one CEO specifically said, the airline industry is like a proverbial bird in a coal mine. Canary in the coal mine, and I was told that the canary
TLT
is sick.
Killing you. Don't put an amount that will kill you.
If you look at what's going on in air
best
traffic
advice
and
I
how
could
people
give.
are changing, so many people, like Canadians, who are not coming to the United States. We're seeing in various different sectors a real downturn.
I have no doubt that people in this room and elsewhere are encouraged by this idea of yours that there are opportunities to seize. And it doesn't surprise me to hear you say that, because in the 16 years that we've known one another, you've always found a way to think constructively about the future, to make a case for taking risk, to make a case for staying invested.
Mm-hmm.
So explain that case right now. If, as you say, there's the possibility that at the very least equity prices continue to go down,
mm-hmm.
What should people do? Where are these opportunities? I can see why there might be opportunities for a firm like BlackRock, but what does everybody else do? Do you stay invested? Do you take risk? Do you take money off the table? What do you do?
Yeah, you said we're probably in a recession right now.
Off the table right here. I think that we've had
but
enough,
again, no rate
from
cuts.
The high water point of January, which may have been excessive. I think a rolling 1 year average, the S&P is down about 7% now.
I think we've seen a lot. That's why I said last night, even this morning,
rolling 1 year average.
We should be humble about the TLT play. You never know, but I do think
that's a lot, and it's a great entry level.
Better odds to go for it now than not.
Are not going to change.
I don't care what Larry Fink says.
The United States to
that's all. That's my logic of it. I have never seen a market reaction like this without the bonds. So maybe it doesn't materialize, and that could happen. But I would rather be caught holding it than not in this environment.
So some of the big macro trends have not changed.
Like I said, you don't drop 15%
We're not talking about
with the bonds not moving down. Can that happen? Yeah, sure. But other than that, I still think there's odds there to hold.
3 months ago, and I think some of the big macro.
If you don't know what I'm saying, I'm not going to explain it. Because I don't want you to gamble and be dumb.
Who?
Trump put.
I think it's very easy. This is just a straight up risk reward play of what's going on.
On policy, tariffs, for example, or somehow engineer a combination of stimulative measures to bail them out.
That's what I said. I do believe the president is going to be focusing on these pro-growth agendas, and so we'll see how that offsets.
That's different, though. That's something that he's been promising the whole way along.
Correct. And so
Trump put would be effectively about the president getting scared.
I don't know how to value that.
It's good that he didn't say anything.
Tariffs, Larry, are just one piece of a much more comprehensive policy agenda.
Because like I told you, people were forecasting like 5,200, 5,000 Trump taps out. He didn't say a price, which is good.
DEI.
Because you don't want to know where he thinks it is.
I could go on. There's a lot. Most of it by executive order. Again, trying to take a step back from the burning question of tariffs, which are occupying the markets at the moment.
Right.
How would you evaluate these first 11 weeks of Trump 2.0?
A lot of volatility, a lot of change. And I think even before the tariffs, there was so much change, so much volatility. I think this is one of the reasons
yeah,
why
a lot of front running.
4 or 5 weeks ago, most CEOs were telling me business is
a lot of front running, then overreacting.
I think whether
and then Trump comes in with the bomb.
Tariffs, whether it's just all these changes, I think more and more people were pausing and slowing down consumption as we speak. And I think all of this is just going to slow down consumption. One interesting fact, and I wrote about this in my CEO letter this year. You know, there was
all right, SPY starting to move back up.
Main Street was different than Wall Street, and we always, you know,
again, couple currency moves. It kind of looks like the rumor, but light.
Statements about.
But watch if these turn big or not. It could just be a natural VWAP move.
Well, the reality is 62% of Americans now invest in equities. So the market impact is impacting Main Street. And so even before this market setback, you were starting to see more and more, I would say, trepidation by consumers more and more, slowing down their purchases, slowing down their vacation plans. And all of this, I would imagine now with the market setback, is going to freeze more and more consumption. And I think we're going to start seeing that really quickly.
This is E-Trade Pro.
So I do believe in the coming months we're going to see more evidence of a slowdown in this economy.
And investors are going to have to continue pricing that in, whether that's an impact on economic growth, whether it's whether less consumption leads to.
But we're going to also see how companies navigate these tariffs. Are they going to navigate the tariffs by trying to jam it down the manufacturers and lowering prices? We've already heard a couple U.S. retailers going back to their place of manufacturing and telling them you got to lower your prices. So that's one point. The one point is, are they going to absorb the tariffs in their margins? That's not good for the equity market. Or are they going to just pass it all the way on to the consumer and elevate prices? It's probably going to be a combination of all three. But until we see how this all plays out, and then two, how much of these tariffs are going to be actually implemented, we'll see. I think
TOT just gets triggered by Powell now. That's it.
These tariffs. What is it? 86%.
But just be careful. Like I'm saying, I don't think TLT has to go up. But
tariffs now in
just
China?
Like the VIX and everything else, if the volatility continues, the odds are Powell's probably going to do something. And then if not, then there's nothing. But then we see where trade policy's at.
It's just going to be, I'm not saying 100% is going to be passed on in terms of the final purchase price. But a lot of it can be passed.
All right, you're still holding up right below VWAP.
The cumulative effect of that. So just think about, there are more American jobs in the fabrication of steel and aluminum than there is in making steel and aluminum. So we now have these aluminum and steel tariffs in place. What does that impact in the demand of the fabricated products? So all these things have major ripple effects. So we have and this is why the market's down, because it just creates this vast amount of uncertainty how this will all play out.
And uncertainty means paralysis, right? In the boardroom, in the C-suite. For how long? I mean, how long? This is the question that management teams are asking themselves right now. How do we move forward?
Yeah, bro, they just fried. So that little SPY play I did to hedge the calls, that just fried the puts, and then the calls now are up only like 150% instead of up like 500%. So yeah, this is just burning premium on both sides.
A lot cheaper now.
That's it. You had a lot of money on that little pop play until we move out of it. Even though this is like 1%, until we actually move, they're just killing every side right now. Because calls are coming down and puts are going negative.
I mean, obviously, already we saw a number of IPOs pausing, and probably for a good reason. But it's not like it's over. We're going to reassess it.
Oh, it's a great
Maybe some of the
opportunity to
valuations of
enter
these
puts.
companies that
Just
were gonna
depends
go
on the
public
time,
are gonna be
but
down 20%.
the problem is they're still very
In the
far
long
out
run,
the
if they
money.
have a vital,
So, like, even if
strong,
you find a put down
business
80%,
proposition, their stock
it's
will be
probably
fine.
$20 out the money,
Yes.
which is really
So
far.
sell a little less.
So you got to be kind of mindful of
secondary
that.
shares, sell all primary, and it really doesn't matter.
Larry, what are foreign leaders telling you about these big shifts
Larry.
in U.S. posture and policies?
Look, I saw a couple of foreign leaders last week in Europe. You're asking my opinion.
I don't
so,
think you should hedge your
I am
long
too.
term with puts and calls. Don't put out false
they're pretty
information.
shocked. They're
So if you did that,
questioning.
great, but that's
They're
not
not-
part of the plan. I think you could play
They're
them
also
separately like
willing
we've
to think
done,
about,
but
okay, where
do
is
not
there
mix
asymmetry
options
in
with
the
your long
trading
term.
agreements with the U.S. and is there a means and ways
Hedge
that we
with
could,
cash,
be,
baby.
You know, managing this more successfully that we can move forward. Some are going to be adapting. Some are going to be retaliatory, like what China did.
All right, SPY
What do you
working
think
its
is
way up.
the-
Bonds
You've been
lower, but
watching
those
BlackRock Chairman and
TLT.
CEO Larry Fink speak at the Economic Club of New York.
Oh no,
with
I
our
want
very
to
own
keep
Eric.
hearing that. Oh, I like because again, last time, like what, a couple weeks ago. I don't know if you guys remember, but last time Larry Fink had comments. You actually got some movements. What's this? Canadian Mark Carney's talking.
Crisis, financial crisis, and economic crisis.
Oh yeah, this just started 3 minutes ago.
The other forms of sustainability. And
So
the first
Canada's speaking now.
is fiscal sustainability, a government that
This
is
guy kind of looked like Powell.
La saine gestion des finances publiques nous évite de mettre une charge trop lourde sur les dos de nos enfants et petits-enfants. C'est au centre de la stratégie de mon gouvernement. Nous allons dépenser moins pour que le Canada puisse investir plus. Nous nous engageons à atteindre l'équilibre budgétaire dans les 3 prochaines années, tout en utilisant les revenus venant de l'impôt pour maximiser les investissements privés qui bâtissent notre économie et soutiennent une croissance économique durable.
No, I think if your
The
plan
second
for the long term is actually like 10
sustainability
years,
is
you don't need to waste your
personal
time with puts.
sustainability.
Just because you
In other
might
words,
not
our
time it
ability as
perfectly and then
individuals
you
to
could
provide
spend
for
money and
ourselves
end
and
up
our
losing,
families
you're better off just using
while
that
we're
cash
working
and then
during our
buying more.
careers and into retirement. And President Trump's actions are challenging that personal sustainability by disrupting
Again, this is live right now.
the global
So
economy.
it's our first time
global
getting to hear
financial
from Canada.
markets, by
I don't think they
directly
matter as
targeting
much. I
Canadian
think
workers
China
and by
news is way bigger,
fundamentally
but we're still in
reshaping
that range.
the international trading system. So many Canadians are understandably worried about their jobs and their retirement savings, which is why, anticipating this need, we announced this morning that we will help to protect Canadians' retirement savings from this market uncertainty. We will reduce the minimum amount that must be withdrawn from registered retirement income funds by 25% for the next year. And the benefit here is
I think
that
they announced
seniors
something
won't have
earlier.
to
This might be
withdraw
he
as
might be
much of their
re-announcing old
hard-earned
shit.
savings when markets are volatile, as they will continue to be until this trade war is sorted out.
We dropped
will
on the
also
China
support
news. We're
seniors
just
by
kind of staying
temporarily
pinned.
boosting the
I just
guaranteed
today's
income
kind of
supplement
a
by
lot
5%.
of there's something else going on,
Low-income
but
seniors
a
are
lot of
amongst the groups
hesitancy.
that are
You already
most
had a
vulnerable
5%
during
move
times
today,
of economic
so I think there's just a
uncertainty,
fat range and hangover, and then
market
everybody's still kind
These
of
people
waiting
are on
on
fixed
an
incomes.
update or development to
don't
jump on.
in general have the ability.
But generally, you're a little lower from the
And
China
this
news.
boost will help them to
But
weather
then Baba
the
just
storm.
got murdered.
Ça s'ajoute aux mesures pour soutenir les travailleurs que nous avons déjà annoncées. On a temporairement changé les règles entourant l'assurance emploi pour que les
Baba
travailleurs
calls in
qui
case they
perdent
back
leur
down.
emploi
That's a good one.
n'aient pas à attendre une semaine avant de la recevoir. On a rendu l'assurance emploi plus accessible et plus généreuse. On donne plus de temps aux travailleurs pour se trouver un emploi sans perdre leurs bénéfices.
The 9th is when all the
Nous avons
tariffs
aussi
technically
agi
go
pour
into play.
appuyer
So
les
if you are an
entreprises canadiennes.
importer, exporter,
Nous avons reporté
that will
les
be the
paiements
you'll have to
d'impôts
start paying
sur
the
leurs
additional
revenus
tariff
en
fees
6
from April 9th in the 2 days.
De la TPS et de la TVH pour les entreprises de début avril à la fin juin, ce qui va fournir jusqu'à 40 milliards de dollars de liquidités à nos entreprises.
He said China has to move before tomorrow, or they're going to get another 50, which is crazy. But that's what I'm saying. I think that's going to be your next big driver in the next 24 hours, whatever China does. Because remember, when they hit us on Friday, we gapped down even more. But yeah, I think the market's taking it calm intraday, but that development is going to probably be a driver. But then again, I mean, we are down 15% in 3 days.
We are blessed in this country because we are rich in nature. People from all over the world come to visit BC, to visit Vancouver Island, to visit Canada, to enjoy the kind of view we have right here, right now. Although your view is somewhat better than my view, but that's okay. It's not bad. It's not bad, my view, but better that way. The natural beauty of our nation is stunning, and our natural heritage is virtually without equal around the world. Just as we Canadians care about our language, we care about our culture, we care for our natural world. As Canadians, nature is our nature. And this wisdom comes to us from Indigenous traditions. As Elder Duke Redbird says in his poem, The Power of the Land, in every nation, in every clan, the elders to a person, whether woman or a man, shared a common truth, one truth to understand, that the spirit of the people is equal to the power of the land. Malheureusement, il faut se rendre à l'évidence, nous n'avons pas assez pris soin de la nature. Au cours de ma vie, nous avons perdu plus de 70% des populations espaces sauvages. Une stratégie causée par la destruction des habitats et les changements climatiques. In Canada, our natural capital, including biodiversity, has fallen 40% on a per capita basis, while at the same time, our produced capital has almost doubled in recent decades. In other words, we become twice as wealthy while impoverishing our natural world. This is what we mean when we talk about sustainability.
See, but this is what I'm saying, bro. You guys notice how slow everybody's going? You guys are calling him sleepy.
And now our natural
but I just think everybody's moving slow. Because that's part of it. The numbers are so high. Everyone wants to see how much pressure you could handle, but everyone's moving really slow now. And markets want everybody to move fast, but nah, everybody's like, yeah, deliberately just chilling.
To take our greatest strengths, our resources, our water, our land, our country. That will never happen. Canada is not America.
And then bonds are slowly
America
dumping, bro.
is a melting pot.
So right here, you've
Canada
taken an extra leg down on bonds, and SPY hasn't really reacted. So that should mean SPY would go higher, because from last night, anytime the bonds would go down, the market was going up.
A right. Because we value solidarity. America is increasingly about the here and now. Canada is forward-looking and future-focused because we value sustainability. And that's why it was Canada who brought the world together and brokered the Montreal Protocol in the 1980s, which saved the ozone layer under Brian Mulroney. It's why Canada hosted COP15
You're just going to move big on the next update. That's it.
Which led to
we're waiting on a real update, a real development. And then again, just like those days, remember in the beginning of the year, whenever you have a weird rumor day, it kind of like neuters the move. So keep that in mind too. There's a fat hangover from the gap down and even the fake rumor. And that fucked it up because like I'm telling you, even the straddles after being up, they're just killing both sides. French President Macron held call on Monday with Trump, CC of Jordan to discuss Gaza. And then BlackRock think 100% of investments in ports was made on behalf of clients. did not
We strive
consider
to do things
geopolitical
not
questions.
because they're easy, but because they are right. We must.
Why are we
earn our
listening
right
to this
take from the
commie?
environment
Because
while
global
always
trade
respecting
is
the
very
nourishing
important right now, and any
And that's
update
why a
will
new
probably
Liberal
move
government
things.
will pursue a
That's why
bold
we
new
listen to
nature
this commie.
strategy with smart approaches.
Any
to
other
preserve
questions?
our natural habitat and to use our finite financial resources to maximum impact. Pour ça, il faut tout d'abord identifier les endroits où nous pouvons avoir le plus grand impact. Nous allons travailler avec les provinces et territoires, les experts et les communautés autochtones et utiliser l'intelligence artificielle, les technologies satellites, la collecte de données sur le terrain pour cartographier les lieux qui sont écologiquement fragiles
I
et
think he said
riches
something about egg
en
prices.
carbone. Nous aurons ainsi les données nécessaires pour atteindre l'objectif de cadre
It's
mondial
necessary to get
de
a
la
long-term
biodiversité
and
de
diversify
protéger
it.
30% de nos
And even in
terres
Trump
et de nos
2.0,
eaux
you'll do good.
d'ici 2030.
He said, get that drip,
plus rapidement
and you'll be a
et à
happy
coût
man
moindre.
when you buy a house.
In the past decade, we have expanded protected
That's what he said.
areas from 1% to 15% and protected waters from 1% to just under 17%. We are making good progress. And to help get the rest of the way there, I'm announcing that a new Liberal government will move forward with new national parks and marine conservation areas.
What?
Along with creating
He announced
15
$100
new
billion for
national
tariff
urban
impact.
parks
That was the other
across
update,
Canada.
but
At the same time,
I don't know
we
what
will
he's doing
make
with
national
fucking
parks
parks
and
and
historic
shit.
sites free for all Canadians this upcoming summer.
What?
I know when I was growing up in Edmonton, Jasper
this guy's in the
National
middle
Park,
of a trade war, and he's
Canada's
like,
crown
yo,
jewel,
free
in my
national
opinion.
parks
I know.
to
Get some
anybody
debate
who
from
want to
behind me.
visit.
Maybe in front of me as well, but my crown jewel, Canada's crown jewel, Jasper National Park, was almost like a second home, and it's certainly where I made lasting memories. But creating new parks and making all our parks more accessible will help ensure that every Canadian will be able to experience the beauty of our great nation, just as I did. Now, to protect Canada's lands, our waters, and our wildlife,
All right,
we
see
must
if
turn
bonds bottom out here,
first to
and then
First
see if we
Nations,
start going up.
Inuit,
If we start going
and
down,
Métis leadership.
watch if bonds start catching a bid. The
Indigenous
premiums are
peoples
higher on
are the first
TLT.
stewards of this land.
Make no mistake.
And that's why my government will
That's why I'm
support
saying this is kind of
indigenous-led
odd.
conservation projects and expand Indigenous Guardians programs to include Arctic Indigenous Guardians to safeguard our north. We will also
Okay,
reintroduce
just as
legislation at the
we
first
didn't really do
opportunity
anything,
to
it sucks.
enshrine First
Because like I'm
Nations'
saying, bro,
right
you
to
can't
safe,
really, you
clean,
don't really
and
feel the
reliable
30
drinking
points.
water under
You're
law.
moving a shit ton, but then now you move. That's a
Pour protéger
fucking
la
30-point
faune du
drop.
Canada, nous allons
But yeah, you're coming
nettoyer
right
nos
back down
rives
here, but you
et
still haven't gotten
mettre
out of this
fin
range.
à la
Couple of
commerce
assets, China, bonds,
transfrontalier
dollar, few things
d'espace
moved outside of
sauvage.
it, but equities now are kind
Tout
of
en
moving
nous
the least.
défendant
And
contre
we're an
la
hour after
dégradation de
Euro
nos
close.
océans et de nos littoraux et en travaillant avec l'industrie pour créer des pêches plus durables et respectueuses.
I think
de
Trump is
l'environnement.
going to, at this point, I don't
La
know, you may hear that
protection de nos
90-day thing
ressources
again.
en eau
I think
douce
Trump is going to raise the rhetoric,
et
and then
aussi
at the end of the
et
day, they now
la
know
protection
a 90-day pause will lift you up 300 points.
La protection de nos ressources
He said
en
protect
eau
your
douce
portfolio
est aussi une priorité.
and make it
C'est
a
pourquoi
priority
on
to
prend des mesures
diversify.
pour les protéger en créant
He said
un
politics
nouveau
don't matter. Don't be a
stratégie
little kid
de
with
100
crayons
millions de
and
dollars
plan
pour
early.
les technologies
You need tech
de protection
and
des
value
eaux.
to protect.
Et nous ferons de la protection des eaux l'une
He said a
de
new thing
nos
about protection is that you
principales
could protect yourself
priorités
with cash.
et diplomatiques.
A diplomatic
Now,
approach to hedging
crucially,
is using
Our
cash
new
instead
plan
of buying insurance.
recognizes one undeniable fact. Protecting nature and fighting climate change are
All right,
intimately
picking
linked.
up a little bit more now.
Our soil,
China is still
our
the
oceans, our trees
dog right now.
are the best stores of
And then
carbon
again,
that
bonds
we
have
have.
already led the way in the
fact,
reverse.
Nature-based solutions could get us as a world.
Dude,
almost
what the fuck
1/3
is
of the
this
way
dude
to
saying?
reducing our emissions and helping to stave off the
Dude,
worst
I
effects
hope,
of
man,
climate
if
change.
any of you are my friends, if you ever
And
find
at the
out
same
I'm in like a
time,
battle
on the
or
other
a
hand,
war,
climate change
and you're
threatens
like,
to
Josh, I could help you
irreversibly
with a
harm our natural
nature-based
environment.
solution, I'm going to kick you in the shins.
Only by fighting
Okay?
climate change can we protect
Yeah, I don't know.
our
He's
natural
talking
environment.
nature-based solutions in
And
the middle
only
of a
by
trade
protecting
war.
our
I'll
natural environment
fucking
can
hurt
we
you if you
protect
did that to me.
ourselves, our planet,
I'll literally kick
our
you.
future
So what's wrong with you?
from the threat of climate change.
What do you mean? This is not.
So globally,
I need a
Canada will
solution.
work
He
to
said a
establish
nature-based
international
solution.
standards for
No,
voluntary
man.
carbon markets. That will allow those who choose to protect and conserve our environment in order to fight climate change to be compensated for doing so.
This is so
we
weird.
understand that values determine value. Canada intends to take a leadership role at the upcoming climate change conference in the Brazilian Amazon, where I know that nature-based solutions will be front and center. La nature est au cœur de l'identité canadienne.
All right,
Et c'est
bro.
pourquoi
I'm giving up on the Canadian. I'm sorry, Canada. You guys are better than that, but I'm giving up. I'm not doing nature-based solutions. I thought it was going to be about trade, but I don't know what that was about. Either way, we are chilling. This is, you guys realize that. That's why I'm saying this is weird now. What's weird is that we had a fake rumor today. Then you had a real big rumor or real confirmation of escalation on China. But here's the point. We have not moved at all. So that's why I want you guys to notice bonds are now starting to move out of the range. But do you realize that you are where the rumor came out? So, yeah, we haven't done anything. So I think we're kind of waiting, but sadly, the real next move, I think they're burning premiums because I had a great play. I made way more, but anything I tried to do to like hedge it, all of those got burned, lit on fire. You're not getting any of those moves intraday. You'll move if we get a headline, but till then, it's just going to be a slow burn. And like, I need you guys to realize that today is massive. Like, look. Bro, you can't really see it, but you're moving 30 points, bro. More. Bro, that's 60 points right there. So even in the last 5 minutes, you have dropped like 40 points, whether you realize it or not. That's why I'm saying like the premiums are fucked because these moves are so big and it's not moving because the range is so wide. So make no mistake, it's very easy to get trapped today. And, yeah, just like you're moving a lot. So maybe near the money might help you out because those are big 20-point moves. But just be cautious because, like I'm saying, it feels like we're doing nothing and it feels boring. But, no, it just is so big today that 30-point moves look tiny. And volume is through the roof right now. You already have well over 130 million, I believe, on the SPY, more than that. BlackRock CEO expects more M&A. Well, even then, we gapped down 5%, and then you had a 250-point move on the same daily chart. So every move is going to look tiny. Because, again, that little fake rally and that move was massive. So I think there's a lot of hangover now leading into the plays on that one. Apple down. Again, Boeing's even coming down. Look at the low ticker. You have it fully gassed. You just don't really see it all the way. Bonds, everyone's just debating whether or not Powell steps in. And if not, people are putting theories. They're believing the gun lock that tariffs will be inflationary and that how the economy is kind of played out, they don't think that you'll get rate cuts, and they don't think that low rates will help the economy. Again, at this point, my logic is very simple. You bring down the market with mass volatility, you're talking recession and all these other things, and bonds are higher than where the banks were at, the banking crisis. I think it's a good bet for now, for at least for a week or two. We'll see. All right, you're kind of coming down here. Like I said, low ticker is fully active. You just don't really feel it. But, yeah, man, I think that 300-point move is has concealed a lot of the intraday stuff. This is historical, 100%. I mean, like I said the other day, though, just recognize the bomb. I've seen a lot of people, argue about many things, but I think you just have to realize, like, whoa, this trade policy is not small. We're playing a high stakes game, and that's gonna cause a lot of potential actions. And watch out, that candle got big, but I'm noticing the bonds. I think maybe by the time the bonds hit that low of the day from the rumor, maybe that sets everything off. But at this point, we might need to wait. Yeah, that was a big candle. You don't realize it. So it may seem like I'm freaking out on these small moves, but like, look, that's 11 points. You just don't really feel it. No, they already trapped both ends. Like I said, I had a call that was up like 500%. I bought the cheaper put. Now the put's down 40% and the call's up only 200. So they're already, call's up only 80 now. So yeah, they're killing both sides. They already killed both sides. TLT premiums are still holding up. That's the thing. TLT is staying or going up. You bought TLT here. Generally, prices are the same, if not higher. And then look, I mean, you're just pitting now after the rumor. I think that rumor kind of messed everything up, low key, just like that other day we had, if you guys remember. Why haven't I played the futures? Why haven't you listened? I've answered this question maybe 4 times in the last week out of sympathy for the people who kept asking me. I wanted to answer, but why have you not listened, Mr. Ray? Where you at, bro? Where you at? Even on, I think, yesterday's watch list or 2 days ago, we included a update on that too. You're at work? That's weird. You got the TLT puts, but you conveniently missed that. Well, I'm glad work opened up for that. So yeah, pay attention. That was Friday. I think I went over this on Friday. I don't know. The point is, you weren't paying attention. I don't know why you're taking this to its end. Anyone get banned today? I don't know. I timed out a couple of people, but I don't think I banned anybody. BlackRock, I only like JP Morgan. That's pretty much it. But I don't even know. That thing's still at 200. So we'll see. Unless there's like some reason that brings down financials, I think I already have my financial exposure. But JP Morgan is one I'm a big fan of. Or like if Bank of America or Morgan Stanley ever got cheap enough, I would be a big fan of that. Thank you again for everything. Helped you over the years. God is good. Amen, man. God is good. God is good. I cannot complain. Life is good. You make it good. Don't let anybody tell you anything. Yeah, timeout, you just can't chat. You could still watch, though. Let's go play golf. I'm not really a good golfer. It's in too much market. Bro, I haven't even got my massage yet. You know that? I'm pissed. Okay, these last 2 weeks, bro, I've been murdering it. I made a lot, man. I should be chilling. I should have been in Hawaii. My girlfriend, she's been very busy. That's why. But then, I got, caught up, and then I went live yesterday. But, bro, I want my massage. I haven't got my massage yet, so I'm not doing no golf, no nothing until I want to go to the Fontainebleau Spa, and I want a massage. That's what I want. Or I want to go to Hawaii. Otherwise, I'm not moving. But yeah, I'm due a massage. They owe me. What does my girlfriend do? She just lives off of my extreme wealth. That's all she does. So that's why. But other than that, yeah, it didn't work this weekend. Last 2 weeks, we've been busy. All righty, you're picking up. I see Moody's. Moody's credit rating, no, that's for companies. But look, bonds getting a bid, China down. This is the lowest you've been in almost an hour. I know that may not, it seems like you just got that rumor, but we've just been on pins and needles. But yeah, so 49.71, 8 more points. This will be the lowest you've been in a while. Gold flushing. Twitch calling me a sugar daddy. I mean, if that's what you think, I mean, tell your girlfriend, hit me up if that's the case. But otherwise, you should watch yourself. Be careful. Is it lunchtime? Almost. Oh, yeah, it is almost 10. Damn. It went from like early to like now we're in the middle of the day. Because I swear, bro, the way we were moving at like 9:30 was insane. But yeah, you are coming down a little bit. All it is China, though. That's the thing. Something is holding you up right now at this point. TLT is holding a lot of premium. Again, I think all I'm saying is it's worth it. That's it. It's very obvious, you guys. I mean, even last time I think TLT did this, but it's just simple. Like, you could ignore it all you want. If the market crashes, bonds are going to catch a bid. That's it. And now you're telling me your people are willing to light everything on fire. So, yeah, I mean, I think for the next week or two, it'd be worth it to have a little bit of TLT, especially when after everything has moved, every contract premium is up 300 to 1,000%. You're telling me there's plays with time that are cheaper than last week? Stop it. So, yeah, that's why I'm saying don't go too crazy. Don't put money you can't afford. Don't get burned. And it may not happen. I think we should approach it with a lot of humility in the sense that it's very easy for TLT to go wrong. But all I'm saying is very few opportunities in your life have you seen the stock market move 10% and TLT is flat. That's all. In those moments, I'm going to act on that for a little bit with an appropriate amount of money. And then that's it. Because if it's wrong, it's wrong. But if it's right, I mean, yeah, that's the opportunity. Stellantis offers to help suppliers pay tariff costs. I haven't been to Fontainebleau, but Resorts World sucks. I've never stayed there. I've only walked inside, but everybody hates Resort World. All right, now you got to pop. Canada, Carney. We have the country rock solid financials, confidence in the governor. All right, you're getting a bigger pop. Now NVIDIA, you're running. All right, boys. Check news. Literally, even oil's popping. Whoa. Again, that's massive. So be careful on this pop, though, because what you guys got to watch out for is that that just moved right there 5 points. Do you understand? So contracts, yeah, be careful. Be very careful. So you might want to go for individuals, but on the SPY, it just moved up $5. Do you understand? So if you buy a call that looks like it's close to the money, it just jumped up $5. So if you go back to normal, you're going to be very far out of the money. If that makes any sense. So just be careful. Yeah, all the plays went from 3 to 5. Oof. Yeah, I'd be careful. I wouldn't go for what's it called? If you're going to try to, unless you know the news, Carney, Trump policy, self-harming. Nah, all I see is Carney. Bonds moved and a couple of other ones. It was like that other pop, but U.S. driving itself into recession, Carney says. Everyone's just listening to the Canada thing now all of a sudden. So it's still, watch, if it still goes, you'll get a nice run, but you just got to be careful. If you go for a short-term contract on the call side in that direction, just know that you gapped up 5 points right there. Do you understand? That's what I'm saying. It's you just jacked up $5. So any contract, if it goes right back down, you will be 50% down. We were just playing the Canada thing. So yeah, Carney says he spoke with Macklem on Monday. Probability that U.S. recession has gone up significantly. That will have major effect on Canadian economy. Oh, Marcus! Mr. Hanlander. What's up, baby? Yeah, so look. Bro, that's insane. Even on like a Tesla. But do you guys see what just happened? 495 to 503 and then back to 499. So if you try to momentum chase any play, you're down 50% right now. Just because it's moved $3 from the money. So be very careful. I didn't take that one. That's what I'm saying. Like, unless we know these pops now, after this one, it's too much. The Fed did have a closed meeting, but that was normal. That wasn't the one for like an emergency. That's a non-event. That was a 70-point move in ES in second. Yeah, bro, I don't get it. That was off of nothing headline, but that was a trap for the dailies and on futures because now you're 70 points down. So look, now if you try to late stage future, you're down 70 points. And then if you try to buy a daily option, it's down 50%. Like I'm saying, because this 502 went in the money and it was out of the money. It went from 7 to 12 or 11, and then now it's down to 8. You're down 40% just on that coming back. That's different than like a pop and drop right here. You see what I'm saying? Because this is just such a sizable move. No, it was a trap on anybody. That was to sucker people in. Do you get what I'm saying? It didn't matter what you, because if you had a put, you just lost all the money. It shot down out of the money $5. And then if you try to buy a daily call to chase, you just got burned 70% off of nothing because nothing happened. Carney says difficult for Canada to avoid recession if U.S. has one. Yeah, so again, today that rumor fucked everything up, you guys. So that's what I'm saying. It's like it was already a bad day, circuit breakers or not, but that rumor just caused the size is too big now. So no matter what happens, like by the time you see a big move, it's going to be $3 in the money. And then, yeah, you just got to be careful. For long term, is there a day where you would post? Just all depends, man. But I do have long-term alerts, and then I'll post them on all my social media within a day. So follow my Instagram, Twitter, all of that. You shouldn't miss anything. Yeah, bro. TLT calls went up higher. I bought another set of TLTs like around one of these. and TLT dropped, and my TLTs are up 20%. So, yeah, either way, some of the people are reacting in other ways. And what I mean is that I would plan for tomorrow and the next day. I wouldn't, like, intraday, the range is too wide. You may get lucky here and there, and then we'll see. But other than that, yeah. Well, if you're already on the long-term alerts, you're locked in. So I'm still going to send them out, but we're just not taking new people for free anymore. So, yeah, if you still signed up on the long-term alerts, you'll get a text message. And then, like I said, I'll put them on my YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, and anywhere else you get your social media updates. Maine sues Trump over freeze on USDA funds due to state support of transgender athletes. Yeah, I said follow me on social media. So Twitter, Instagram, all that. I'll post them on there. Inverted will look. Now bonds, like I said, the premiums are up 20% from earlier, even though TLT went lower. SPY's at this like 1-2 hour low. And then, yeah, bonds trying to move. But we'll see. Other than that, though, you need like a real change. You need a real update. Otherwise, we're probably just going to stay around here. I'm doing good today, baby. How are you? It's good, though. At least we didn't get Black Friday. This could have been a lot worse. I mean, you know, everywhere closed down 5% today. We're only down 1 for now. We're halfway through the day, but it's decent. It is decent. Oh, look at the time. I didn't even notice the time. So, yeah, we might have to get on.
These tariff implications really mean for the economy. There's a lot more talk about a recession than maybe we even heard, a week ago. I mean, everything has changed very dramatically in just a couple of days. As far as like the market is concerned, I mean, we have a company like Apple that at one point today was on track for its biggest 3-day drop since before the iPod was released back in 2000. So the just sheer scale of the selling right now is something to behold. And, it certainly would be possible that we would get some kind of a bounce. Maybe that's a short-term bounce. Maybe this does end up being a longer-term opportunity. But right now, there's still so much uncertainty that it's hard to, make any calls one way or the other.
Well, and when we look at kind of regional exposure, if you will, I'm looking at the NASDAQ Golden Dragon China Index right now, down 7 percentage points as the president is threatening a tariff as high as 104% effectively on all Chinese goods. Are there other pockets of the market, Ryan, like that you're watching?
Well, I mentioned Apple, and Apple is really in the crosshairs of tariffs right now. That's what we are sort of focusing on here. They do so much of their manufacturing in China, in Vietnam, in these countries that are really seeing the brunt of the sort of tariff impact here. And this is a company that we've already been having a lot of concerns about in terms of their growth expectations, their inability to grow as fast as some of the other mega cap peers. It was already trading at a valuation that was seen as elevated by historical standards. So there's really a lot of reason to be selling a stock like Apple right now. And there's sort of fewer reasons to buy unless you are taking a longer term kind of point of view. But I would say a lot of these companies, especially within big tech, people remain pretty positive on them in terms of their their cash flow, their balance sheets, their dominance in the markets they operate in. So you will certainly find people who remain optimistic about big tech. But I think right now the short term is so uncertain that everyone is, like I said, just extremely cautious and very prone to be selling.
Ryan Vostelica, Bloomberg Equities reporter, in the teeth of the sell-off. Ryan, we thank you so much. Kaylee, it's pretty remarkable to see the VIX back above 50 here this morning. The number that we're looking at, by the way, on the S&P 500, 49.15, a closing level would in fact mean a bear market joining the NASDAQ, which did such last week.
Yeah, a decline, of course, of 20% or more is what would codify that bear market. And it's incredible because we have seen over the last 2 days, at the end of last week, of selling in the equity market, investors seeking haven in the treasury market. And yet that's not what is happening today. We're actually up 14 basis points on the 10-year yield right now at 4.13. So you're seeing selling in stocks. You're also seeing selling in bonds. And I wonder what
allies have been notified that Navy Vice Admiral who holds senior postman in NATO has been fired from post. 3 sources tell Reuters.
On that. I was just thinking that the market's got a bit over its skis, expecting 4 cuts this year. Congressman Congressman Frank Lucas is looking at all of this, just like the rest of us are. He is the Republican representing the 3rd District of Oklahoma and joins us now live. Congressman, it's great to have you back on Bloomberg TV and radio. This story has evolved a bit since we last talked about it, and I wonder from your standpoint, and if you put your rancher hat on in Oklahoma, if you're hearing a consistent message from this White House and if you support this course of action.
Well, clearly the president believes he's going to stay the course.
Yeah,
he's
clearly
determined to change the way we do trade and business around the world. He's using a sledgehammer.
White House has canceled Netanyahu conference.
Overwhelmingly supportive of the president. And we'll see over the course of the coming hours or days.
Yeah, they literally just canceled the Netanyahu thing. They had a scheduled press conference. Remember, like with Zelensky? But this time with Netanyahu, they canceled it. That's not a good sign.
To the market.
Well, being supportive of the president is one thing, Congressman. Being supportive of this
White House
specific
says
policy
Netanyahu
from the
conference
is
no
another.
longer taking place.
Your constituents telling you they're on board with tariffs of this scope and scale.
My constituents are holding their breath. 80% of the cotton we raise in this country plus is exported. 40% of the winter wheat we raise in this country is exported. All the hogs we raise in northwest Oklahoma get on ships to go to Asia. So these issues are very important to my constituents, but they also understand the status quo for the last 3 or 4 decades has worked against us. And here comes President Trump, prepared not to accept the status quo, but to plow through. Now, we will see over the coming days and weeks and months. I have faith that the president and his inner circle of advisors will make the necessary strategic adjustments if there are strategic adjustments to be made. But let's just take a breath and try to work our way through the next few days. Because after all, if you put the money in the market 2 years ago, from a stock market perspective, you're still several thousand points ahead as of this moment.
Well, to the point that you're making about your district, Congressman, a report by the U.S.-China Business Council found indeed that Oklahoma's 3rd district was the 3rd largest recipient. China, rather, was the 3rd largest recipient of your global exports, which you just described here, $154 million in gross sales. How do you quantify what's about to happen here to local business?
Well, if you look at 4 years ago, when we had the first taste of the trade wars, President Trump responded by urging Congress to provide additional assistance to farmers to weather the storm. And he also negotiated a deal 4 years ago with the Chinese to buy an additional $50 billion in U.S. agricultural products. I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head how well the Biden administration followed through on that, but he remembered who his supporters were, and he stood with us.
All right, let's get it.
We'll see this
time to move on over.
Have to have faith.
I got to keep getting ready
we'll see
here.
In the next hours, days, weeks, what happens.
But we're going to move to FILA.
It would seem.
So better get your membership ready. Otherwise, I'll see you at Power Hour.
50 different
but you're moving up now, so
again,
be careful. This one's a little slower, but it's still another 5 points.
But the
Vietnam says to address concerns on non-tariff barriers.
Decades. Let's give it a try.
All right. I'll see you guys there.
Congressman, one of your Republican colleagues in the House, Congressman Don Bacon, has introduced legislation that looks a lot like the legislation, bipartisan legislation that was introduced in the Senate, essentially requiring congressional approval of the president's tariffs. The White House today has issued a veto threat on